Into the Jordy Culotta Show, daily presented by Go Chevrolet. Huge show set up for this Wednesday as we come at you from the undisclosed location. We are live here. You got a remote over there? I do.
Hardest thing to find in this room, dude.
It is.
You got the Velcro on the back, still doesn't work.
I
know. Well, you know, we're still men. It just falls on the couch, and that's where it belongs.
Carlos Sample's going to be here at 7:45 this morning. Coach Sample has Scotlandville back in a state championship game for the 12th straight year. That's pretty successful. I was telling the crew here, one of my first assignments at my prior stop was getting a prep show off the ground, and we went and met with Coach Sample in 2010, and he was telling me how he was going to build a dynasty at Scotlandville, and 12 years later, they play for another state title as Coach Sample and the crew are set up. And we'll be coming by here at 7:45 this morning. We'll talk to Jim Nagy coming up at 7:15. Nagy will be here talking about the Senior Bowl. A lot of debate right now going into the NFL draft on quarterbacks, wide receivers, Jamar Chase, Devonta Smith. He'll stop by here and talk about that. 8:30 this morning, Chef Jean Paul Bourgeois will be here. Of course, Chef Jean Paul will be here in his regular stint. If you got a food question, jump inside the bunker. You can ask it. Just hashtag Ask the Chef. Coming up at 8:30. 8:15, Nolan Cain and LSU baseball stayed successful last night. They got another one coming up here. Pretty quick turnaround with UNO and Blake Dean in town. We will talk to Coach Cain about that at 8:15 this morning. Whitney Bros here. Randy Mueller, former general manager of the New Orleans Saints and Seattle Seahawks, will be talking some NFL drafts, so we're jam-packed. Got Noah Tingle in, the new intern. Lizzie's here. Katie's here, and some fresh new Valentine's Nike Air Maxes, which are sweet.
They're awesome.
They are awesome. Good morning to you. And Lee Carney from Go Chevrolet. Right where we started. This thing, we're now about 6 weeks in, buddy. It has been incredible to get this rocket off the ground. But now that we are flying, it's good to have you back in studio.
Yeah,
good to see you, buddy.
It's good to be back. I'll tell you what, man. Y'all upgraded this place. Valet parking, coffee when you come in.
Yes. Hey. I mean, easy on what's going on around here on the outside, huh?
Valet remodeled. The whole thing is great.
It is a lot like what's going on.
You got a little prep room over there. Everybody getting everybody ready before we come on show. Hair, makeup.
That's right.
Man,
We're a big deal.
We'll show you the third floor after the show.
a lot. What's going on at Go Chevrolet,
That's right.
man. How are things been going? We kind of launched right around the same time as you guys launched, and we're keeping up with you on social media, and a lot of successful stories coming out of Laplace.
We did. We've been very excited about what's going on. It's been, our expectations, we've exceeded those, so everything's going good. We're opening up a used car lot here in Baton Rouge, so we're going to be back in the Baton Rouge market.
That's what I was going to ask you about. When's that happening?
April 1st. So that'll be good. So we're excited about that. It is strictly just used cars, but it lets us get back to Baton Rouge, where we're from, and the connections that we have. So it's going to be good. We're going to call it Go Express Auto Sales.
Go Express Auto Sales?
Go
Nice.
Express Auto Sales.
And so, like, that's kind of part of the plan, right? I mean, I know that you guys had to make sure that Laplace was up and running, and like you said, you're kind of overhitting your expectations right now early on. You're bringing a used car lot to Baton Rouge, but there's much grander plans for Go Chevrolet.
There is, but we're excited about the way it's going, and this is probably this will be enough on our plate for now, but we're we're probably gonna have 70, 80 cars there on the ground. What we've been very successful with, is people calling saying, "Hey, this is what I'm looking for," and they're not in a rush. So we'll research, try to find something for them at auction, get it for them, do everything online, bring the car to them, sign all the paperwork, so they never have to come to Laplace or actually even leave their house.
Yeah, I would say I'm around Baton Rouge. I'm moving around Baton Rouge a lot during the days right now, and I see Go's plates and logo all over the place. And one of the things was that Nick told me that you guys regularly come to Baton Rouge and make it easy for clients, for customers.
We're probably here 2 or 3 times a day, either picking their car up for service and bringing it over there, bringing it to Laplace and servicing the car for them, or coming and bringing them a car. So, and that's kind of the concept we had, a Go Experience deal where, just call us. We'll do everything we can to bring your car and service it, bring it back, or do everything where you don't even have to come.
Have you sold that blacked out Z71 yet?
We have not.
Wow. So if you mention the Jordy Culotta show, there's still $1,000 discount.
There
right?
is
I'm
$1,000.
working
Okay.
hard with
Or
David
if you
to get
work for
that
the
one.
Jordy Culotta show, it's just $1,000.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sold.
We've got some OCD listeners inside the bunker. Can you straighten up that picture that's a little crooked right over your right shoulder, if you don't mind? There you go. A little bit down there.
Respect the Badger.
Thank you.
Respect
Thank
the
you.
Badger.
Thank you. But yeah, so that's one of great selections down there in Laplace. I tell people that it's easy to get to, whether you're coming from New Orleans, whether you come from South Louisiana, or you're going to New Orleans. But just off the Laplace exit is how I tell them to get there, because once you get off and get to Airline, it's right there on your right.
First exit Belterre. You get off, you maybe go about 1.5 miles down the road. You hit Airline, you take a right, and it's maybe a half a mile down on the right.
You played basketball for Southeastern. You played for Roman Banks, who was an assistant.
Roman came after me.
Okay.
All right. So
I don't want to age him.
No, yeah, no, that's right. He became an assistant after I left. I played. Billy Kennedy came during my time. Played for Billy Kennedy. The assistant, one assistant that was there, Steve Prohm, who's now at Iowa State, and then Roman came maybe a year or two after I left.
That was a hell of a staff.
They were
that you played for down at Southeastern. His brother Carlos Sample is going to be here at the end of hour one. Scotlandville's playing for their 12th state title tomorrow night versus St. Aug. You and I talk a lot of basketball together, and you respect the game. Can you talk about what Carlos has achieved there, and then I want to pick your brain on LSU before you get out of here, because I know you got to hit the road.
Carlos is listen, he's a local guy. Played at Southern University for Ben Jobe. For those of people that don't know Ben Jobe, I worked for him 1 year at Southern University when I coached, and Ben Jobe was more knowledge. He probably forgot a lot more basketball than anybody ever gets. People don't know this, but he coached at South Carolina for Al McGuire, not the same one at Marquette. It was a different one at South Carolina, but Bobby Crimmins was on that staff. Donnie Walsh was on that staff. Donnie Walsh ended up being the president.
He was the GM of the Pacers.
Of the Knicks, too.
Oh, right.
Yeah. So he was on that staff, and then he went, Coach Joe coached in Denver with, I guess it was the Nuggets back then probably, the Denver Nuggets. Then he was at the University of Denver. So he was around in those scenes when there wasn't many coaches like Coach Jobe around there, and so in those scenes, so he knew a lot. And obviously Carlos played for him back when they were winning. I think he might have played right after Bobby Fields, maybe, or kind of in that.
Okay. So Avery Johnson, Bobby Fields, and those guys.
I think Avery might have been a senior when Carlos was a freshman, maybe. You ask him that when he comes on. I don't know exact timeline, but.
What do you make of what Will's got going on right now?
I think
his team's playing right.
They're playing good.
Yeah,
they're playing good, and he does a great job, and so he'll get them going. I mean, this is the time, right? So this is the time you want to hit a little stride and be playing great. I mean, they have guards. They can shoot the ball. If they're on and they're doing what they're supposed to be doing, they're going to be hard to beat.
Yeah.
I mean, when it gets to in my opinion, when it gets here, you got to be you don't have to you always have to make shots, but when it gets to these games, the team that can put the ball on the goal and score and make shots is going to win the game. And so we have the ability to do that, right? So we have the ability to come out with Cam Thomas and Smart and those guys and Wofford. I mean, they're a really good team. And then Darius Days, I mean, man, I feel like every time he shoots the ball, I feel like it's going in. So I'm excited about them. If they get a good, I mean, I was reading some stuff. I guess they're probably thinking somewhere in a 7 range. Maybe if they can, I don't know if he said it on Monday, what they thought they might get.
Well, he wants to stay away from the 8-9.
Yeah, so I thought, and it looks like they'll probably end up there. Now, if they can win a couple of games in the tournament, they might be able to push that up to maybe a 6 or so. And that's where they probably, if they can land there and get them a good bracket, I mean, they got a chance to win a couple of games or even more. So.
Absolutely. It's an easy drive to Laplace. I know you're about to make it. About 40 minutes door to door from me to the dealership. We appreciate everything that you've done for the Jordy Culotta show since day one, and we're really looking forward
day one vibes
to the used car lot coming. And we've been pushing the Twitter account that you guys have going on. It's go_Chevrolet that you can find. Go Chevrolet, and like Lee said, April 1st coming on Florida Boulevard. What's the name of the lot?
Go Express Auto Sales.
Go Express Auto Sales, a division of a part of Go Chevrolet, which is down in LaPlace with Nick Richard and our good friend Lee Carney. Have a safe trip down to LaPlace, man.
I'll do it, man. Thanks for inviting me. I love the new digs, man. You big time.
Yeah, well, you know what? We got big money behind us at Go Chevrolet.
Do I tip the lady on the valet?
You do, and that's enough. That's enough with the public. What's going on here at that undisclosed location? That's enough. I mean, even though you got the money behind the show, you still can't talk about it on the streets.
Well, we appreciate you having us.
Always, man.
appreciate
Always.
you.
Go Chevrolet. Lee Carney, Nick Richard, stop in and see him. When we come back, we'll set the stage for the day. We are jam packed. Jim Nagy will be here at 7:30 this morning. Lee, make sure you sign that flag. We didn't get you to do that the first time. Yeah. Sign the CBS flag before you get out of here. The Sharpie's right next to the pencil sharpener. So we got Jim Nagy coming up here in a couple of minutes. He is from the Senior Bowl, and really looking forward to talking to Nagy about some of the debates of what's happening here going into the NFL draft, whether it's Mac Jones shooting up draft boards or whether it is the debate between Devonta Smith and Jamar Chase that seems to be happening right now within the top 5. Who's going to be the number 1 receiver taken off the board? Noah, slide in over there to that far spot as we bring in another one of our newest interns here, Noah Tingle from Central High School, who joins the staff. Is going to help us out with some social media, especially today. Nick's got a couple of days off here, catching up with school. Got some personal things he needs to deal with. So we're going to give him the next few days off and get through the weekend, and we'll be back. Katie's about to take a trip.
I am. I'm going to Mexico tomorrow to fish.
Man, to fish.
I know.
We're gonna yeah.
You bringing the new kicks?
She is.
I guess, yeah.
Have you been fishing before?
I mean, not that kind of fishing.
I know.
No.
Dude, watch out, dude.
This is like a client
seasickness.
taking us on this trip for David. So I mean, no, this is not a trip that I would have planned on my own. But I'm excited.
Deep sea fishing?
I mean, I guess it's off of Isla Mujeres, Mexico.
Okay.
Deep
Bad
sea,
experience
right?
for your boy last time we went deep sea fishing. I would definitely take the Dramamine. Do you do the
we
motion
talked about that
sickness?
last night. We were like,
Yes.
we don't have enough Dramamine.
Okay.
Like, get more. If you think you have
patches.
enough, get more.
Yeah.
We went on the overnighter. I went with the brother-in-law who is like just a mad fisherman. Loves to fish. No, you fish? No. Yeah, exactly. South
Don't even have to
Louisiana.
ask me, dude.
Yeah, bro.
Well,
South
you make
Louisiana.
Yeah.
None of the guys in this room. This would probably be hard to find in South Louisiana, but you're looking at 3 dudes in one room that don't hunt or fish in South Louisiana, from Baton Rouge, from the area. But we went out on an overnighter on the Gulf, and we had a great crew. My brother-in-law, his brother, the rest of the crew. They hit me with a little surprise the night before and said, we're just going to take off tonight and do a little overnighter. I'm like, bro, I'm in. No problem. Because at that point, you're feeling good, got the buzz working, you know what I mean? Like, let's just take off.
That's a future me
Why-
problem, dude.
why
Yeah,
not?
that sounds great.
Absolutely.
Worry about that later.
So everything's good on the way out. I mean, laughs, drinks are flowing, food's good, everybody's
Still a
good,
good idea.
man. Absolutely. This is great. Bean bag it up. I sleep. I wake up around sunrise. Beautiful sunrise over the Gulf of Mexico. Only swells, really. I mean, it wasn't even choppy. No 2 to 3 footers. I mean, it was just kind of like a bathtub, really. 100 miles out. And when I peeked over the bow of the boat and I kind of saw up, down, I thought to myself, oh, bleep. I laid back down and I was like, oh, man. And then I just, bro, I mean, it was just a day. It was just a day of, you take a sip of water, it's coming right back up.
Yeah,
You take you eat a peanut, it's coming back. I mean, it was just, there's no worse sickness in my opinion than homesick and seasick. Homesick and seasick, there's just no cure. There's no cure. I mean, if you're when you're homesick and you're away from home, the only remedy is the getting back home, and that's the one thing you can't do. Being seasick, we were 100 miles out in the Gulf. I mean, we were in no man's land, and everybody, they're like stepping over me, like thinking to themselves, like, we ain't stopping fishing, bro. You know what I mean? Like,
fish now.
we ain't going in. Yeah, you got a problem. I mean, like, we're gonna be here all day. And like they would stop at every rig on the way in after we had like filled the boat up. Like thinking to myself, how many mother bleeping fish can we catch? I mean, are we going to catch every species out here, bro? Let's take this thing. I mean, it was miserable. So,
man, you're really making me excited Katie, about this trip. Can't wait.
Enjoy yourself.
Jesus.
I don't know if I wouldn't just hang back. Like,
well, we can. I mean, I don't have to get on the boat every day. Like, there are other things to do.
And then, I think they played me a little bit because Kelly and I, we had like just started dating. Or like I was like gonna like try and impress her, and I was like, "Hey, I got some fish," and she's like, "All right, great, come on over, you can cook." And I'm like, "Perfect." So I take that big blue ice chest that I have out there, and I just like base it with ice, and I take this one Ziploc bag of tile fish. Has anybody ever heard of tile fish? No. I've not either.
Can you fry it?
So I mean, like we catch everything that day: dolphin, tuna. I mean, all types of wildlife in the Gulf. And they were like, hey, man, this is the catch. This is the one you want. You want the tile fish. And I'm like, cool, bag it up. I'll take it. So they give me like one little tuna steak and this huge selection of tile fish. And I'm like, Kel, I got this tile fish. They say it's the best to eat in the Gulf. I'm coming over. It's like a white flaky fish. I'm going to cook it. She's like, all right, come on over. She Googles it like while I'm on the way over there. She's like, yeah, yo, that tile fish you're talking about, it has the most mercury in the entire Gulf. She's like, bro, they straight up played you. I mean, they were like, yeah, here's your fish, sick guy. Get out of here.
I mean, tile fish doesn't sound very appetizing.
It was, yeah, it was
pre-season with
mercury. You don't see that on the menu. Our catch today is tile fish.
Tile fish.
I got played. I'll never be back. Enjoy your trip.
Oh, God. Thanks.
For sure. Daily, we're brought to you by Johnson and Spillers Dentistry. Remember, Johnson and Spillers are the official dentist of the Jordy Culotta Show. 2 locations. They're located out in Gonzales. There's also a location here in Baton Rouge if you want to stop in and see them. They're on Perkins Road, located in between Segan Lane and Bluebonnet. Go see Dr. Spillers. Go see Dr. Johnson today. Remember, they got everything from pediatric dentistry. They can help you out with all of anything that may be hurting you within your mouth. If you need fillers, if you need caps, if you're looking to take care of some old molars that you need to take care of, Johnson and Spillers can take care of you today. Get in touch with Dr. Chad Spillers and his crew over there. 2 locations, Baton Rouge and Gonzales. Online, johnsonandspillers.com. All right, we're looking forward to talking to Jim Nagy coming up here in a couple of minutes, as Nagy has been with the Reese's Senior Bowl and really done a great job of marketing that product, because before, the Senior Bowl had a reputation of kind of a low-end draft game that you really didn't have a chance to see all of the prospects. It was really built around the draft practice more than it was the game. And Nagy has now made that very appealing to the high-end players. I'm talking about like first-round picks. Baker Mayfield was the first that Nagy was able to really get down to Mobile. Now, he didn't play in the game, but he went through the preparation, and that brought a lot of credibility to that event. And since then, it has been a place where big-time prospects come in for a week. You get to know NFL teams. You get to work alongside NFL coaches. You get to know decision makers at that level very intimately in a setting that just a couple of years ago, Greg Stringfellow, who is the LSU equipment coach, manager, G-String, and has been on the job for a long time, since the early 90s. He's from the area and holds that responsibility. He kind of runs the equipment for the week for the entire Senior Bowl. And a couple of years ago, T-Bob and I went down there, did a show from Mobile, set up down there, had a chance to kind of go through the entire day and see everything that goes into promoting, marketing, and running the Senior Bowl. And it is an event. I mean, they had 2 head coaches speaking at a forum that day. They had an NFL agents meeting where, like Rosenhaus was there. All of the big-time agents in football were there. All 32 teams were not only represented by either head coach, general manager, vice president. I'm talking like brass of their organization. All 32 teams are there. I mean, G-String, T-Bob, and I break away, go get breakfast one morning, and I mean, the entire brain trust from the Los Angeles Chargers are sitting at like the table next to us. Coach, head coach, general manager, vice president, all of the decision makers just sitting down there in Mobile. So Nagy's done an incredible job of just kind of promoting that event and bringing such great attention to it. And I want to talk to him about some of the debates in this year's draft, including Mac Jones, who is flying up draft boards. I mean, McShay's got him as a top 10 pick. Nagy is huge on him. I mean, I was seeing some mock drafts within his senior season, that had him like late first round, and like a lot of people had the Saints choosing Jones. Right now, it doesn't look like he may get out of the top 10. So I'm really want to talk to Nagy about where he fits in. I love Mac Jones.
What happens to somebody every year? There's always somebody gets that pre-draft bump where it's like, second, third round, then they start going through the process like, just flying up the board. Mac Jones, it takes one person to say it, and then everybody just starts kind of throwing it in. And he goes from a second rounder to a first rounder. It happens every year.
Is he the one you called a bag of milk?
Yeah, he's the bag of milk.
Yeah,
Wait, it looks like a bag of milk.
Well, that's where I started.
I mean, he just bad body. If he goes to that combine looking like that, he's gonna fall down the draft boards. I'm telling you.
I mean, he looks like Brady.
He looks
lot
worse than
like
Brady.
did in '96.
Come on, let's not go there.
And he's got some handles to grab onto if you want.
Doesn't have the butt cut that Katie's looking for, but I mean, just the soft, dimply golf ball look.
I mean, dad bod.
Yeah.
He's a pillow.
Yeah, he just got it, man.
This poor guy.
But a beast.
About to get paid.
Yeah, he is. All right, so we will talk to Jim Nagy coming up here in a couple of minutes. LSU baseball takes care of business last night as they were able to get the win 10-4 over Texas Southern, as LSU now 10-3 on the season. LSU will travel to take on UNO at Privateer Park in New Orleans tonight. That'll be a 6:30 first pitch. Last night, Ma'Khail Hillard, former Central standout there, Noah, earned his first win of the season as he went 3 1/3, struck out 5, and allowed no hits. 34 of his 40 pitches that he threw last night went for strikes. LSU opened in the first inning with Dylan Cruz, who hopped on. Trey Morgan came through. Cade Doty, was good to see him back in action last night as he hit a home run in his first game back after the shoulder injury. So it looks good for Doty as he'll be back in action. UNO tonight on the road as LSU travels to New Orleans. Nolan Cain will be here at 8:15 this morning to talk a little bit about that matchup, what happened last night, what his thoughts are from LSU 11 games into the season as the Tigers improved last night after the win to 10-3. Excuse me, as they've now played 13 games this year. So we'll talk to Nolan Cain coming up at 8:15. If you've got a question for the Jordy Culotta Show, remember you can hop aboard and just drop the hashtag in the bunker. We got our crew watching there as we will get the questions over and asked here. Also, Jean Paul Bourgeois will be here at 8:30. So if you have food questions, remember, you can ask him there as well.
It always makes my stomach growl when he comes on.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Did you see it? He was cooking yesterday on Instagram some pork tenderloin. I don't know what he was doing, but it looked fire.
Well, on the latest Duck Camp Diners, he had some scrambled eggs, some crawfish scrambled eggs.
I mean, I just trust that man. Whatever he wants to make, I'm cool with it.
Yeah.
Unreal, man.
Sure.
How many parties do you think he gets invited to?
A lot.
Like, dude.
A lot. And not only that, I mean,
Chef
like, he's probably got a lot more than the food. Like, his personality screams, like, kind of life of the party.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Not only the best cook, but probably got the best
bravado. Like, bringing everything.
Drink.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Lloyd, can you give that tutorial one more time about how to listen to the show when it closes out?
Oh, yeah. You can go to jordyculotta.show.com and do it there.
Yeah, absolutely. That's the way to do it.
Close out
Just
on
go
your
to jordyculotta.show.com and you have an audio option and you've got a video option that you can take care of. So you can close it out. You can work in the background, everything that you're looking for right there. All right, let's link up with Jim Nagy here, who is the Senior Bowl executive president, as he's done a great job over there. Let's see if we can't link
Pop
up.
that Bluetooth on for me, homie.
All right, let's see if we can't get connected here
For as early as we were here, we
we did
something
screw
slipped
some
through
stuff
this
up.
weekend.
We did screw some stuff up.
We need a sitter.
Yeah, we do.
Or that whiteboard.
I thought that was with
I
me.
know. I thought that was me too.
All right, you're on. You're on.
Okay. All right. All right. Let's see if we can't link up with Jim Nagy
That's
here.
him.
There he is.
Hello.
The man. Sorry about that. Nags, we're live. Good morning. How are you, buddy?
I'm good. Jordy, how are you?
I'm doing good, man. I'm doing great. I'm watching you blow up all over ESPN talking about all these debates going into this NFL draft, man. I mean, I guess we'll start with one that's featuring one of our guys in Ja'Marr Chase and these wide receivers in Devonta Smith. Both these guys, Louisiana kids. You had such an impressive turnout at the Senior Bowl this season. You got to know a lot of these prospects going through the draft process. But when you look at Chase and you look at Smith side by side, who wins out? What do you see?
They're very different players. God, it speaks to the talent level in your state there. They're
Right.
two great players. Just two really different players and what they bring to the table. If you're on the side of Smitty, you're just talking about the overall skill set and polish of the player. I mean, from the releases to the top of the route, hands after the catch. They're going to end up with 4 first-round picks out of that wide receiver room in Tuscaloosa, and I think Smitty's the best all-around of all those guys. They all kind of bring something different to the table. Ruggs was the fastest. Waddle might catch him here at Pro Day. I think most of us have seen those videos on social media where they basically neck and neck photo finish there in the 40. But Waddle's the shiftiest, and Junior's a really good route runner. But Smitty kind of brings everything to the table. The knock on Devontae is going to be the weight, the 170 pounds, and I'm not buying that. He would be an outlier if he became a great player at $170, but all you got to do is put on the tape, and you see him play through contact. The lack of bulk is never an issue in the SEC. It'd be one thing if he were playing at a lower level and he looked the way he looked, but he's doing it in the most physical conference in college football. And then you look at 39 straight games that he's played in, so durability hasn't been an issue. So that wouldn't be an issue for me. Chase is just a totally different player. He's more of a power player, really nice hands, and great after the catch. And that's why I think a lot of teams are into Ja'Marr right now, is because that's what the league's looking for, right? The Deebo Samuel type player that's got a little running back in his game. You get the ball to him quick. He can break tackles. And just talking to people around the league, the only concern with Ja'Marr is he kind of plays bully ball at the college level, and will a guy that is going to be somewhere in that 5'11 and a half to 6 foot range and 200 pounds, is that going to translate? Will he be able to play that game? Usually guys that have that play style and play that game at the next level, they're 6'3", 6'4", 220, 230, 235. Like Chase Claypool from Notre Dame last year was just under 6'4". He was 238 pounds. He ran 4.38. Ja'Marr's got great tape. He's a really good player, but that's the one question is, will the play style carry over?
Jim Nagy's joining us here on the Jordy Culotta Show. You can find Nags on Twitter at @JimNagy_SB. He is a longtime NFL scout. In fact, 20 years he scouted the game. Now he's the executive director of the Senior Bowl and has done an incredible job of marketing that product to players all over the country. Jim, can you talk about how scouting the wide receiver position has changed in just a short amount of time, and how much stock now there is in that position with the way that offenses put the demand on throwing the ball now?
Yeah, I think a couple things there, Jordy. I think that you're getting better receivers coming out of high school, out of college, and I think it goes back to even middle school and high school 7-on-7s. I just think you're getting guys with better awareness, better spatial awareness, better feel. They're just catching so many more balls now. You think of a guy like Calvin Johnson who, played in that triple option at Georgia Tech. I mean, he left there and he had whatever it was, just a handful of catches really in 3 years at Georgia Tech. So, just the whole proliferation of 7-on-7 has really helped these guys. And, I think the NFL is doing a much better job of incorporating concepts to that level. Wide receiver traditionally has been a really hard position to scout for the NFL because it is such an apples to oranges comparison. You just don't, outside of LSU and Alabama, you don't see a lot of press coverage around college football, and that's all they get at the NFL level. You get a lot of guys that get their hands on you quick, bigger, stronger corners, and you just don't see that. You see a lot of space. You see a lot of guys running into open voids and not even really having to separate. So, how do you gauge separation when you never see a guy have to separate? And I think you have to do that. Like in Jamar's case, you see that after the catch. You see what he does when he has to square up a defender and shake someone and create space with the ball in his hands. And that, because you don't see a lot of separation on tape with Jamar because he's in the slot for LSU. They got him matched against safeties a lot in man coverage, and they're playing 8 to 12 yards off. He catches the ball, and so what you really have to do is gauge what he does with the ball in his hands in short spaces. So, yeah, it's definitely a difficult projection, but it is getting easier now that the NFL is using a lot of those same pass concepts.
Some of the mocks that we were reviewing during the season had the Saints falling back at the end of the first round, which is where they are at 28. Being able to grab a guy like Mac Jones here of late, and I know that he spent the week with you and had a pretty good week, but he got banged up. He is skyrocketing up draft boards. I know you're high on Jones. What do you think of the signal caller out of Tuscaloosa going into the draft process?
Yeah, 28, that's not going to happen.
Yeah, right. That's a pipe dream now.
Jordy, the crazy thing for me is we start watching these players. Our staff's watching the 2022 class right now.
Mm-hmm.
I've got to stay on board with this 21 class and kind of ride it through this draft for ESPN. And I'll circle the wagons in May and get up to speed through May, June, July on the 2022 class. But when I jump into, this class of juniors that wasn't eligible for the Senior Bowl, I mean, it's crazy sometimes because the narrative's already been set, right? Like they've been talking about this class for forever. So if I jump into the process in February and March, and I really voice what I feel on some of these guys, I'm going to look like I'm coming from another planet.
Yeah.
It's amazing how some of these guys, I mean, there's 3 or 4 in this year's draft that have been being talked about as consensus first round picks, but I wouldn't take until the 4th or 5th round. It's a different process. So, the thing with Mac is I think he's coming in here with 2 starts. So he was way behind the 8 ball there. I think that early in the year, I think the easy default was just to chalk it up to the skill people around him. Yet you never heard that with Tua, right? You never heard anyone make excuses for Tua. And he had 2 more first rounders he was throwing to than Mac Jones did.
That's right.
But I think the NFL, that's the thing. Like, what's the difference? The media side of it, and there's so much of it now, whether it's draft Twitter or, the conventional media, if you will. And then the NFL, like the word sleeper, there is no sleepers in the NFL. Like someone also talked about someone, well, they opted out. They're off, they're really off the radar. Well, they're never off the NFL radar, right? I mean, those guys are getting paid a lot of money to keep tabs on these guys. So, yeah, it's just a different dynamic, but back to Mac, the league is really high in this guy. I went to the Bama-Georgia game this year and, talking to a couple scouts that I'm buddies with that I've worked with in the past. And over the summer, they had 2nd round grades on Mac Jones. So where do you think those grades are going when he starts, whatever it is, 13 games this year and puts up the numbers he did? I mean, they're not going from 2nd round to late first. They're going from 2nd round to, the top 10 of the first round. So it just looks different for Mac Jones. He's not the runaround guy that the league's going through right now. He's not Deshaun. He's not Patrick Mahomes. But I think the point that needs to be made is there's only like a handful of those guys walking the planet.
Right.
There's only a few Russell Wilsons and those guys. So, and with Mac, with the league season, Mac is a guy that doesn't have to do that. When you talk about guys being smart, like he's almost rare smart. He's an old school gym rat. We caught him at the Senior Bowl up after midnight 2 nights in the quarterback room, all by himself taking notes. And he wasn't doing that to be seen. Some people do things so they can be seen, and they Mac didn't know anyone was going to walk in on him to close up that room. So he's the old school gym rat. He can apply it to the field. And a big reason why some of these guys have to run around and buy time is because they don't see it quick enough. I mean, Mac's eyes are incredible. He gets the ball out on time. So he's a guy that can win from the pocket, and he's got an incredible feel in there. He doesn't have to get out, run around. So, Mac's not getting out of the top 10. I know that right now.
We are paying attention to the 5th overall selection with Cincinnati down here in South Louisiana because it'll have implications on Joe Burrow, and it seems like offensive line is going to be the selection there. Penei Sewell has been slated in as the guy that seems to be the popular pick. But yesterday, I know that you were at Rashawn Slater's pro day, which was very impressive. How much of a shot does he have there at the Bengals at 5 or to slide into an early selection pick?
Yeah, I've had Slater rated higher than Sewell going back to last summer. So there is some debate there. Now, Sewell's a really good prospect. Don't get me wrong. He's got excellent mobility, great feet. He can really bend. I mean, you could put Penny Sewell could be a Pro Bowl center. I really think his tools are best suited to play center, even though he's never done it. So I would never project him there without seeing it. But I do think that's going to be the debate, Slater or Sewell. And you're going to see the Bengals really load up. Their staff was all down here for the Senior Bowl. I had a chance to catch up with those guys. They coached our game the year before, and great guys. Love that staff, and it's no secret that they're going to do everything they can do to protect Joe Burrow next year.
Your game, I'd imagine, gets some ancillary credit here when a guy like Dak Prescott inks a contract like he does just 2 days ago, where he becomes the highest paid player in the NFL with the $66 million signing bonus. He was the MVP of your game 4 years ago. How much does that mean for what you guys are doing down at the Senior Bowl? As we've been telling our audience, you've done such a tremendous job of promoting that product and really bringing it to the mainstream. It doesn't feel so much as a foreign product anymore, and I'd imagine press like Dak Prescott getting a contract like that is very good for the Reese's Senior Bowl.
Yeah, Jordy, we have to promote it, and congrats to Dak. I mean, he's an incredible player, but it's very similar to, like, I just draw it to the LSU program. I mean, look at what they did. Look at what these big college programs do on social media right now, and really probably 80% of it is for recruiting, right? And the other 20% is for the fan base, to entertain the fan base. And that's the focus of our social media as well. It's to show these players, like, look who's played in the Senior Bowl in the past. Like we have 56, 57 Pro Football Hall of Famers, and I think this year we had like 18 Pro Bowlers this year. So we have to promote that. We wouldn't be doing our jobs if we didn't. So we're happy for Dak, and really that connection happened at the Senior Bowl for Dak and the Cowboys. They were the Cowboys and Jason Garrett's staff were coaching the other team that year. But one thing we do on Fridays, we give kind of a team swap where they swap teams for the day, and they go through meetings with them so the position coaches can spend a little time with those guys and get a better feel for them. And that's when the Cowboys fell in love with Dak, and they tried to trade up with the Seahawks, because I was in Seattle at the time. They tried to trade with us and take Paxton Lynch. I mean, it's just one of those, they're dumb luck. We traded the pick to Denver. Denver took Paxton Lynch, and they got to the third round and took Dak because of, their familiarity with him here in Mobile. And now it's all worked out, and whatever that was 5 years later, now he's one of the highest paid guys in the league. So I'm really happy for Dak. He's been everything I hear about Dak. People at Mississippi State, he's a stud of a guy, and so you love seeing great things happen to people like that.
No, you're very busy. Thank you for your time this morning. Last one, we'll get you out of here. What'd you make of the three from LSU that had that spent the week with you in Mobile? You had Racey McMath, a New Orleans wide receiver. You had Jacoby Jones, you had Jacoby Stevens, who wore number 7 here at LSU during his senior season, and then Jabril Cox, Nags, who looks like he is going to be a steal for somebody.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I'm a huge Racey fan. It's kind of like we brought Stephon Sullivan last year, and those guys, I think Stephon had 11 catches, and Racey didn't have much more than that this year. But, LSU, there's always going to be really talented guys hidden in that program because they have so much talent. And, similar to like Terry McLaurin a couple years ago, who's become a stud for the Washington football team. We really invited him to the Senior Bowl based off his special team stuff. And then he got down here and blew up the week and ended up going in the third round because nobody could guard him. We brought Racey for the same reason. He's the best gunner in college football. So in terms of height, weight, speed, there's not a better prospect in the draft. Now, wide receiver skill set, he still has a lot to prove there. But in terms of a 6'4", 220-pound guy that can roll, there's a lot to him. And again, he didn't get a lot of exposure there at LSU, so we wanted to bring him so the scouts could look at him. But he had to leave midweek. He had an injury that flared up on him. So, but yeah, Cox is going to be – he's not getting out of the early second round. Could he go in the late first? I could definitely see that. You just don't find 230-pound, 6'3" linebackers that run high 4.4, low 4.5. Can't wait to get over there to LSU's Pro Day in a couple weeks here and see him run. And then Stevens really showed out. He's kind of one of those hybrid guys now, kind of a, strong safety linebacker, and he's really going to fit on sub downs at the next level in nickel and dime is probably a linebacker, and did a great job. Had a great week covering tight end. So I think Jacoby really helped himself. and the sky's the limit with Cox.
Yeah, that's a great comp on him. As Brian Fletcher, one of our listeners, says, thanks to Jim Nagy for stopping by. Great interview this morning. Nags is the best in the business. He is. You can follow him on Twitter at Jim Nagy _SB. He's the executive director of the Reese's Senior Bowl, a longtime NFL scout. And just turn on your television right now. Odds are you're watching his talking head on the NFL Network, on SportsCenter, on ESPN. He's all over the place right now. So thanks for the 12 minutes this morning, Nags. We'll talk again soon.
Yeah, Jordy, thanks for having me on, bud.
Always. Thank you, man. There is Jim Nagy this morning. Checking in from Chicago. As yesterday, he was at Northwestern's pro day as we were talking there. When you look at the Cincinnati Bengals and some of the options that they have at offensive line there, Penei Sewell, who's the offensive tackle at Oregon, seems to be the slated pick. But as Jim Nagy said there, he's gone back and forth on a couple of prospects, including Rashawn Slater, the offensive tackle from Northwestern, who he went and saw worked out yesterday at his very impressive pro day. So it'll be interesting to see where the Bengals go there at number 5, with obviously the protection of Burrow being the primary concern and the primary objective, not only in the draft, but I'd imagine in free agency as well. I mean, not only do you need to get some young guys on that offensive line, but you need to get some veterans. I mean, Burrow nearly got killed.
It was inevitable what happened.
It was. It absolutely was.
If you're the Bengals, or I'll say this: if you're just a fan of, like us, just a fan of pretty much Joe Burrow, which one would you rather see? Would you rather see him link up with Jamar again?
No, I'd rather see him get protection.
Okay,
first and foremost, I'd like, and for as attractive and as cool as fun as that would be, that does not serve both prospects the best. By Chase going to Cincinnati and by Burrow and that offense choosing Chase, they need to protect him first. If they want him to play and be a long-term quarterback option in Cincinnati, what happened to him in his rookie season can never happen again. I mean, it can never happen again. I mean, they nearly got him killed. Edward Jones brings you the Jordy Culotta Show every single day here. Get in touch with Daniel Newman. He is our financial advisor. He is located in Magnolia Square out there in central Louisiana. 225-261-8262 is the phone number, or you can email him this morning at daniel.newman, daniel.newman, daniel.newman at edwardjones.com. Remember, if you're working at the plants, if you're working over at Dow, Exxon, BASF, and you've got a question about your financials, get in touch with Daniel Newman. He is a pro in that category. He's helping us out with the 401k. Simple to work alongside Daniel. We appreciate his guidance in this in the financial sector, because he's brought us a lot of light there. So get in touch with Daniel Newman this morning. Daniel.Newman at edwardjones.com. All right, let's get in touch with Carlos Sample. You want to talk about making history. Carlos Sample, the way that he has really created this Scotlandville basketball program to where it is today. Our intern Noah Tingle is he's a freshman at LSU, but a long time. He played basketball at Central. You played against Scotlandville. You've seen this machine up close, and you've seen it kind of here at the late end of it. Without question, in my opinion, it is the best basketball program in the state of Louisiana, just because of the consistent level that they play with year in, year out.
Yeah, without a doubt. I mean, every game they're the projected winner. There's not a team that gets picked over them, and a lot of the times it's wins by 20, 30 points.
All right, we are gonna link up with Coach Sample here as we dial him up down in Lafayette. As a big win for Scotlandville as they defeated Jesuit 46-43. Coach Sample, how are you? Good morning, man. It's Jordy.
Jordy, good morning. How you doing, man?
I'm good, man. We're live. We're live now. Congratulations to you and the Hornets, man. Another year as you guys get the win last night, 46-43 over Jesuit, to put you back into the state championship game. Coach, let me say this out loud. Does this even hit home to you? Does this mean anything when I say the 12th consecutive year you will be going to a state championship. It's unbelievable to say out loud. Congratulations.
Thank you. I'm grateful, and I mean, right now we just trying to chase excellence, and it doesn't hit home. Mine is on trying to win this game from Saturday. So, we have our work cut out for us, against a strong St. All team. So, we just gonna try to get together today and regroup and see what we can come up with for Saturday.
Yeah, I know that all of them have been different. All these runs have been different. So let's focus on this one before we talk about the overall and what you guys have accomplished up there, because I know it's really about what's going on this season. What has this run been like? I know that this season has kind of been a roller coaster ride for the Hornets.
Yeah, to be honest with you, this season was it's a lot of motivation, with losing so many players, 3 to Division I schools and 6 seniors, and a group that comes back with one guy with experience, and and it's been fun, really, just coaching these guys, watching them grow day in and day out, game in and game out, and just being resilient in every game they play. Plenty of close games. So we're if nothing had prepared them for the championship, I mean, something's going on. But I'm just elated that we had a chance to compete this year with everything going on. We were very fortunate that COVID didn't hit us at all, so we're very blessed for that. We thank God for that. So we just gonna try to continue to just keep this run going this year. One more game, and hopefully we can play our best ball for 32 minutes come Saturday.
The entire city was talking about a matchup between you and Madison Prep a couple of weeks back that was shifted around for COVID. What has it been like in coaching your team during this season? I know everybody's been dealing with it, and we've talked to people from all different sectors of business and sports and all over our community and really all over the country, and everybody has a story about how they've been affected in their day out life over the last 365 days. How has it affected Scotlandville basketball?
Yes, it has affected us, even though we haven't been positive in COVID. We played, teams that we were on schedule to play, we had to cancel games. So, it's something that you have to have some type of mental toughness and fight through it. Everybody's dealing with it, and tough times don't last always. Tough people do. So, you just have to stay focused and have those kids just understand, what's at stake and protect yourselves, protect your family, and be able to not quarantine and play and practice, every day.
You've had so many players come through that program the last decade, guys that are now playing at the highest level and all over college basketball. Explain to me or talk about your latest superstar in Amarion McDonald, a transfer from McKinley that seems like he kind of sets the pace for you night in, night out.
Right. Well, he's not from McKinley. He's from Red River, Coshada up there in North Louisiana. But he came, moved out here and set out last year. And I'm trying to cram 4 years into one with him. And I've seen a tremendous growth by leaps and bounds, especially on the defensive end. He's learning how to share the ball, how to set up teammates instead of himself, because he was used to just having the ball in his hand, being able to move it out the ball. And, and he's earned himself a Division I scholarship. He's committed to Northwestern State University, which, after the season, he's focused on trying to win a championship, and he'll sign after the season.
Coach, that was a tight one last night, huh? I mean, you guys have played, and
yeah.
I saw you guys beat, you won by 20 in the quarters, but last night, that game was back and forth. What was that one like on the sideline? What was that one like for your point of view?
Oh man, it was a great game of basketball. Great for the fans, but not so great for the coaches. But it's just like I said, the kids were very resilient. They hung in there. They made a few mistakes, and they stayed in the game. Jesuit. We knew they had a chip on their shoulders. First with it being the semifinals, and also that we beat them by 50 last year in the quarterfinals. So, and they had a lot of guys back, and I told our guys, just, let's focus on the game plan and doing what we need to do to be successful. And it was nip and tuck. Chris does a great job with his Jesuit team. They're a solid team, and we were just fortunate and lucky just to win this game.
How did you keep this program so motivated and hungry year in, year out? Because one thing that I have noticed on this run, and I was telling our crew before we got going this morning, I remember coming to Scotlandville in 2010, right when you were on you were right at the tip of the mountaintop and you were about to get there. And it seems like you are as starving today, or the program is, maybe not you individually, but you're the leader of it.
Right.
But the program is as starving today as they were back then. And I mean, you're looking for your seventh state title tomorrow. I mean,
yeah, well, it's about accountability, and kids having pride in the program and the tradition, that we set forth for that group to come, and just holding their feet to the fire, and every day just going hard, practicing for whatever duration of time, going to bed as hard as you can, and also 32 minutes a game, and they have bought into the system, into the program, to what we've done. And, we're not trying to, we don't want to get the all-star, the best player. We just want the hardest working player, and with that, comes a little success, and we can just try to ride that wave as much as we can. And, I'm just happy that, that we're at Scotlandville doing things that, we're just trying to chase greatness, and we don't have time right now to look back and reflect, but I can say that I'm proud of my staff, the community. It takes more than just a basketball coach and a team. It takes a lot of intangibles to make the type of run that we're making.
Absolutely. Carlos Sample, the architect of the finest high school basketball program in our state, Scotlandville, as they go for another state title tomorrow night versus a very stout St. Aug team. Coach, one more, we'll get you out of here. Can you talk about the state of basketball within the Baton Rouge area right now? Because you guys have always been kind of the class and the great representation for us as a city, and really as a state. You've become kind of gotten the reputation as the best program in the state. But when you look around Baton Rouge now, whether it's the Dunham School, whether it's St. Michael, whether it's these teams that are now competing for state championships, what do you make of the class of play around us?
Well, Jordy, I mean, it's basketball in Baton Rouge has always been, a great brand, to Louisiana. And, to have, us at Madison Prep is, their program is just outstanding as well, and the other schools coming on board, it shows the parity that we have in Baton Rouge, the talent level we have in Baton Rouge, and a lot of schools such as New Orleans and some schools up north, they also have, great tradition and pride, but I just think Baton Rouge is just head above every area in Louisiana because, we want the most out of our kids, we have a lot of pride in our schools and our programs here, all the coaches. So we just, kind of represent Baton Rouge, not just me, but all the great coaches that we have here in Baton Rouge, to represent Baton Rouge to the finest, to the best of our ability.
Yeah. Coach, great work once again. Thank you for representing our town and our city and our state like you in Scotlandville do year in, year out. Go get them tomorrow night. Go get another one for the Hornets, man. Thank you for the time this morning.
Thanks, Jordy, my friend. I appreciate you, man.
Always.
Appreciate you.
Yes, sir. There's Carlos Sample checking in this morning from Lafayette as the Hornets look for another one. Derek Jones over in Port Allen for what he's done to that program the last couple of years. I mean, you look around the basketball landscape of our city and what's happening right now. Scotlandville's been they've been there year in, year out. I mean, what they're accomplishing, when we really look back on what they are accomplishing. I mean, it's happening right now in front of your face. You can go watch some, I don't know if you can go. I don't know what the guidelines are on that game tomorrow night at the Cajun Dome on what the capacity is. But I mean, that's happening tomorrow night. Scotlandville's going for another state championship under Carlos Sample under this 12-year run. It's been just, I don't know how to really describe it.
Wait, how many does he have?
I think tomorrow they're looking for number 7.
That's amazing.
I mean, it would be 4 in a row.
Yeah.
Freshman, sophomore, junior, senior year.
I hate to.
I mean,
I hate,
for
and
real.
this
Can you
is
imagine?
very irresponsible. It may be more than that.
Okay.
I mean, it might be more than that. But I mean, I know that it's they've at least won the last 3 in a row. I called 2 of them in Natchitoches.
You did?
I called
Wow.
when they won it with Brian Bridgewater and Damian Jones. Damian Jones now plays for Golden State. Just traded him to Minnesota or maybe to Brooklyn.
He's on the Lakers right now.
Is he on the
Just got
Lakers?
picked up, yeah.
So he just got picked up by the Lakers. I mean, yeah. I mean, it has been. It's been unbelievable.
JJ Pickett says it's Saturday at 5.
The championship game.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, man, I'd like to go there. It's 5 in a row from a Division I level. It's just been unbelievable. I mean, just the numbers are unbelievable. I mean, Reese Beekman at Virginia this year, he's the best freshman in the conference. I mean, Javonte Smart's the leader of LSU. I mean, Horton, the big defensive end who you talked about last season, the last couple of years was unstoppable for them on the low post. He's now playing defensive end for Virginia. Just the amount of athletes, for as disciplined, as well coached as they are year in, year out. That to me is the most impressive thing. I mean, that is the true mark of a program where it doesn't matter the caliber, the type, the skill set of the player. Sample is going to adapt, adjust, and get the best out of them year in, year out. It doesn't matter. And this thing predates the split. It predates the high school, the LHSAA splitting up the classifications and splitting up the private and public sector. He was winning state championships when it was legit. And it's still legitimate state titles, but I mean when the state was playing everyone. So he's just man, it's incredible to sit back and really say out loud what he's accomplishing, what they are accomplishing every single year from a basketball standpoint. When it's gone, when it's done, when you sit back and you just look back and you say, my God, look at this up to this date, 12-year run Scotlandville basketball has been on. It could be longer. I mean, he's not going anywhere. You know, I mean, he's for as long as he's there, they're going to be in it. And, I mean, this thing could go 15, 16, 20 years. I mean, think about it. It's crazy.
It's crazy.
Thanks for everybody for finding us on YouTube. Remember, spread the word. We appreciate the likes, the shares, the comments. All of that means something here. If you're finding us, it's the Jordy Culotta Show 2.0 is the station that you're looking for. We appreciate the subscriptions that have been going up throughout the last week and a half. It's easy to get to us at jordyculottashow.com. If you want to get to us there, you can check out the video feed. You can check out the audio feed. All of that is there for you on jordyculottashow.com as you can find it there.
Oh, and if you want to subscribe, that little nifty couch, our chair at the bottom right, if you hover over that, it'll pop up a little subscribe to make it easy for you.
Remember, we're brought to you by RMB Builders. Rhett Bourgeois and his crew, 921-7062, brings us our podcast every day, and we just crossed the 20,000 download threshold of podcast over there at wherever you're getting your podcast from, Apple, Android, Spotify, all those stores. And all of that is brought to you by Rhett Bourgeois and RMB Builders, 921-7062. Let them custom build you a home. Let them help you remodel the home that you're in, or if you just need repairs like Katie does. Who we're not going to talk about that.
That's right.
I think she started this project a couple of times, and finally she's just gone with the pro. She's just going to go with Rhett Bourgeois, and it's all going to be done this one time. 921-7062, 921-7062 is how you get in touch with Rhett Bourgeois and his crew at RMB Builders. All right, let us reset for a little bit. That's an hour down here for the Jordy Culotta Show. Appreciate the interaction. We'll get set up for the second hour, in which we're going to talk more NFL draft coverage. Randy Mueller, who is the former New Orleans Saints and Seattle Seahawks general manager, is going to stop by way late in the show. He's going to be here around 9 a.m. After Women Crush Wednesday, as Whitney Bro and her crew will be in for the Gridiron Show. What about the momentum that the Gridiron Show is experiencing here in the first week, as there are advertisers wanting to know how they can align themselves. I saw Matt Moscona and Ryan Terrio and their group over at Hudco Roofing donating $1,000 to Whitney's cause. We very much appreciate that from their crew over there in helping and supporting Whitney and what she does. But the Gridiron Show is experiencing great success, and it's because of Whitney and her team, Abby's hard work that has gone into building this thing, but a lot because of your support. So we appreciate that. She'll be here at 8:45 to highlight some of the women in sports and business that are making some moves here at the end of hour one. 8:30, we're going to talk to Chef Jean Paul Bourgeois. So remember, if you've got food questions, if you got any recipe questions, I saw in the latest duck camp dinners that they were serving up crawfish, scrambled eggs around the campfire. The latest, as Chef will be here at 8:30. And then at 8:15, we'll talk to Big Daddy Cain, Nolan Cain, LSU baseball. Nice win last night for the Tigers. Blake Dean, his former teammate, UNO in town the Tigers will make a trip down to New Orleans to take on Dean and UNO in their next game up, and that'll be a quick turnaround with the Tigers traveling down to New Orleans tonight. So we will get the latest from Cain coming up here in just a couple of minutes. Remember, we tell you all the time, if you're looking to sell your house, our friend Barrett Blondo over at Falaya Real Estate is doing it a little different. He's giving you a great opportunity. If you're looking to sell your house this spring and you're thinking about for sale by owner, then you need to check out Falaya listing plans. They start at $399. This is sell your house by yourself. It's for sale by owner on steroids. You can save thousands with Falaya. For more information, visit Falaya.com. That's FALAYA.com, or download the app today at Falaya, wherever you get your app. All right, we'll be back for hour two of the Jordy Culotta Show, presented by Go Chevrolet. Every time we talk to LSU head basketball coach Will Wade here on the Jordy Culotta Show, it's brought to you by Phil's Oyster Bar. Some exciting new things coming up at Phil's here during the Lenten season, including featuring new seafood specials every Friday, in addition to the seafood-filled menu over there. And they're offering up brunch right now on Saturday and Sundays, which will have bottomless mimosas. Don't forget Monday night 50-cent oysters and $2 draft beers, all over at Phil's Oyster Bar. Check them out. They're online at philsoysterbar.com, but they're located in the South Downs Shopping Center, a staple here in Baton Rouge for a long time. Go tell Anthony Piazza and the crew hello. Phil's Oyster Bar. Hey, if you're in the market for a custom home, get in touch with our friend Rhett Bourgeois over at RMB Builders. They're online at RMB-Builders, and Rhett can do just about anything you need around the house. He can build you a new one. He can repair the one you're in. He can remodel. If you need commercial construction help, he's licensed for commercial as well. He can handle an office renovation, building maintenance. Check out everything. It's online at rmb-builders.com. He's on social media, Instagram and Facebook. You can find him at the handle at RMB Builders LLC. But the website is fantastic. Check him out, rmb-builders.com. Hey, you know it's no secret what we got going over here at the Jordy Culotta Show. We're trying to disrupt how media and advertising moves forward. My friend of over 35 years, Barrett Blondo, is doing the same thing for real estate with his new company, Falaya. I met with him in his own personal undisclosed location, and I got to see firsthand what Falaya has been doing and what he's been working on. It blew my mind, man. They are putting all the tools once reserved for professionals right in the hands of the homeowner. It's basically for sale by owner on steroids. For more information, give my guy Barrett Blondo a call today at 225-939-6153 or visit him at Falaya. That's FALAYA.com for more info. Barrett Blondo over at Falaya.com. Changing the game in real estate. So if you got to get in touch with our guy, Bradley Lynch, over at Advanta Clean, it's not going to be a good day for you. But the good news is if you give him a call at 369-5228, he'll take care of everything. Water, fire, mold. If you feel water on the carpet when you wake up, if you smell fire, if you see mold, get in touch with Bradley Lynch over at AdvantaClean, online at AdvantaClean.com. Call him locally, 369-5228 with a 225 area code. He'll take care of everything. From dealing with the insurance company to coming over, diagnosing the problem, he'll be there within that day. Online at AdvantaClean.com. Water, fire, mold. AdvantaClean.com and our good friend Bradley Lynch, 369-5228. Welcome back here to the Jordy Culotta Show live on YouTube, jordyculotta.show.com, presented by Ghost Chevrolet. Good to see Lee Carney inside the studio this morning, taking us back to day one. Carney still looks as uncomfortable and awkward on camera as he did on the first day.
Just in the couch.
The man just likes to sell cars. Just go see him to sell cars. He doesn't like to be on television. He doesn't like to be your entertainment.
He did good.
No, he was great. He was great. He was great. Easy drive for Carney down to Laplace. Go see him and Dominic or Nick Richard.
I know. I was like, Dominic, email me. Like, wait a minute. That's Nick.
Nick Richard.
Would you go with Dom, though?
I would.
I think that's a strong name.
His son goes by Dom.
Oh, the Dom.
Yeah,
Dom Deuce.
Dom.
Dom Deuce.
Shoving you into a locker.
That's right.
That's awesome.
That's right.
Can we give a
Y'all see
shout out real
Dom? Don't
quick?
look at Dom. Don't make eye contact with Dom.
Don't make Dom Sr. come up here.
Can we give a shout out to One Team One Podcast, by the way?
We just did.
It's not Jordy. I mean, there's a lot of speculation going on. He's got John Brady and Ben McDonald tonight at 6 p.m. on his podcast.
Nice.
Everybody tune in. And he's doing that bracket, the March Madness.
That thing. I'm on to his little game there. He's just going around drinking old fashions.
He's been all over town.
You want me to do that, Jordy? I can go rake some old fashions.
I loved his live broadcast from Bogies.
It's great.
I thought that was fantastic.
Made me miss it.
That was fantastic. Me too. I love Bogies, man. God, I love Bogies.
That's the spot too in the back.
It is. It is. There are a couple. There's a couple of great diamond spots and bogeys, man. A couple of corners. That's right. That's right. That's right. Hop inside of the bunker if you want to get involved here. We appreciate everybody for supporting what we do here at the Jordy Culotta Show. We will talk to Nolan Cain coming up here in just a couple of minutes as Big Daddy Cain and the Tigers get a nice win last night versus Texas Southern, an expected win, but a win nonetheless. And those are the games that you have to win when you're good teams, are the ones that you are expected to win. Any questions that we can knock out here before we get to Coach Cain? Hit me.
V. Shaw says, why don't QBs require teams to spend a portion of salary cap on O-line?
To choose your own adventure there.
Yeah.
I mean, how good do you think he is?
Well, I mean, and you don't want to give personnel say so to everybody. I mean, really and truly, how many players in the NFL deserve player control or just a bit of a percentage of the conversation into people that are joining the team? Because once you open that door and once you allow that conversation to happen, you have now created what could eventually turn into a monster.
Where does it stop?
Right. I mean, I think that there are people that can handle that responsibility. I think Breeze, Brady, Rodgers being the starting point of that conversation. I think Russell Wilson is probably
putting his hat in that arena.
He's trying to.
Yeah.
He's trying to, but I think he's got enough skins in the game and he's got enough credit on his resume where he deserves at least an ear at the table. Maybe not a voice just yet, but I think he does. I mean, that's to be debated. But when you get him hit as many times as he's been hit the last 4 seasons, when he's produced like he has for Seattle the last 4 seasons, when he has been the only reason why they've been relevant or had any chance to be in these games or be players in the NFC West like they've been the last couple of years, he definitely deserves, and he's got the Super Bowls. I mean, I know that he wasn't the Russell Wilson that he is now when they were winning those Super Bowls, but he's still a Super Bowl winning quarterback.
Almost 2 times.
Right? I mean,
But it's not like Seattle hasn't done a good job of putting pieces around him. It's his only complaint the O-line, because they drafted DK Metcalf, they have Tyler Lockett, they have a pretty good run game.
And the offensive line argument's fair, though.
Oh yeah, but I'm saying it's not like they're not. Seattle is actively trying to put pieces around him. It's an odd time for him to voice his displeasure. They traded for Jamal Adams. Like, they're making moves to be good.
But back to the question. Outside of those 4 guys, and Breeze is out of the game now, or it's seemingly he is out of the game. Who else is there that you would give even a hint of
Mahomes?
Of power? Mahomes, yeah.
Mahomes has the resume. It's his 4th year in the league.
I mean,
he's just early.
Yeah, but think about it. I mean, the story goes he picked up the phone and called Andy Reid and said, "Draft Clyde."
Right. So it's already happened.
So there you go. I would think that Deshaun Watson would probably be on that track, but he's got to find a squad now. I mean, he's got to find a team that would trust that relationship, to go back and forth.
Ain't happening in Houston.
Outside of that, I can't think of anybody that you could really trust within the game to start to give that responsibility to. Kyler Murray, maybe down the line as a prospect, somebody that you would say, hey, who would you rather? We're thinking about going defensive end or tight end.
Right.
Would you be okay if we drafted this guy? I mean, maybe. I don't know, man. But here's what I'm saying. There's only a handful.
Rodgers.
And there's always going to be a handful. Right? I mean, there's never going to be 10 guys in the league that you trust that gives personnel decisions in boardrooms.
There's already enough cooks in that kitchen to begin with. They don't know what they're doing until draft day.
Exactly. I mean, that's the great big secret, is that nobody really knows what they're doing.
Just getting
there.
lucky.
I mean, you're just trying to throw stuff at the wall and see what sticks.
All right, you want another question?
Yeah, hit me one more.
Taylor Castine,
maybe.
Which new coach will have the biggest impact next season?
The obvious answer is probably Durante Jones because of just how bad the defense was. But I think that the offense is going to look different. So I would say that Peets and Mangus will probably have the bigger impact because Durante Jones, look, both sides have talent. Both sides have talent. There's no argument that, one guy's got to coach up a group more than the other to get the best out of each side. Both sides have NFL talent. But I think that the offense is going to look a little bit more than they did, a little bit more 2019-ish than they did, which is going to be very recognizable. It'll be recognizable to the sense of just the organization. Everybody's going to look aligned. They're going to look sharp. Their routes are going to be on time. The quarterback wide receiver relationship is going to be real tight as far as the timing goes. I mean, that's what Pete and Mangus are bringing. So I would say the offensive staff would probably have a bigger impact on immediate LSU football. But I think that Durante Jones is a very good hire, and I think his principles, his philosophies from the NFL that he's bringing down to athletes that he's coaching now in the SEC is going to be obvious. Like, it's going to be obvious that Jones is doing things different on that side of the ball. I think that when your eyeballs, when you turn on the television or you show up in Tiger Stadium, you're going to say, wow, the offense looks a lot like 2019 again. And I think that that's going to be, a lot of the influence of, Joe Brady to Peets and Mangus kind of coming back down. Anything else? You want to get to Nolan Cain?
Sure.
Yeah, let's call Coach Cain. As Nolan Cain, Big Daddy Cain, and the crew last night get a nice win for the Tigers. I want to talk to him about the weekend as LSU fell to Oral Roberts, 2 of 3. Big Daddy Cain, good morning. How are you?
Hello.
Yes, sir. Coach.
Hello.
I hear some echo. Coach, you got me?
Hey, can you hear me?
Yes,
yeah,
sir.
yeah.
Yes, sir. How are you?
I'm doing good. You?
We're good, man. We're live. Nice win last night for the Tigers as you guys bounce back. Coach, game of baseball this weekend. Is that what just it is? You lose like you do Friday night, then you blow them out on Saturday, then you lose a heartbreaker on Sunday. Is that kind of the definition of the sport?
I think definitely Sunday.
I mean, the wind was a factor. Both teams hit some balls hard that were caught and kept in the ballpark. And, we just did some things that young teams do. Young position players, that ball in the gap. We've got no doubles on, which is to prevent a guy from scoring from first base. The guy hits it to the right part of the park where we can't defend it. We get it in, get a good relay throw, and then Zach Arnold just didn't make a good enough throw to home. Ball trickles away, and then young freshman Wilhelmers, instead of just eating that ball, now there's a runner on third with 2 outs. Go get the next batter, make some clutch pitches. He throws it away. It looked like a snowball fight out there. So just some things that, when we've got a lot of freshmen and sophomores as position players, we've got to teach these guys how to win. And sometimes that comes from, getting kicked in the face and getting knocked down, and it's all about how you rebound and come back.
What is that process like for a baseball team? I'd imagine that there's such a sense of urgency, but you guys have...
Just going to fight through that one?
Thank you. But you guys have such an extended timeline as far as the season goes, when knowing that there's going to be games within the game that you have to play with your roster. How is that accepted, or how is that coached within the coaching room between you guys knowing it?
It just comes down to doing the small things. When you're in high school, you're in junior college, you're playing summer baseball. The little things don't usually come back to bite you because you're just so talented in the summer team or the high school team that you're on. You just dominate everybody, especially if you have the LSU, SEC commitment on that team. It's going to be a pretty good team. And you stress these things from the beginning, and we obviously work on them in the fall. But you want to see these guys learn from these experiences when they don't do a small thing. Base running mistakes. Base running is a huge thing. Defending, executing double cuts and relays and all those things. Those small things that can come to losing a game, and it's almost like it has to happen, and they have to learn from it. And when they don't learn from it, that's when it becomes frustrating. And I think that our team is definitely learning from the small mistakes that we've made thus far.
Good to see Doty back last night as he sends a bomb over the fence, as it looks like he's getting right?
Yeah, kind of a freaky thing with that left shoulder, and it healed very quickly. Corey Couture, trainer, did some really good work on it. Our medical team, Dr. Field and those guys, they cleared him. He was ready to go. And I think we were missing him a little bit this week, not just the bat and what he brings, but he's really emerging to a big leader on this team, and somebody that the younger guys really look to, and he's got some skins on the wall and that kind of stuff. So having him back was fantastic, and actually playing him at third base and Thompson at short and Arnold at second was something we wanted to do before he hurt his shoulder. So last night was the first night to really kind of unveil it, and we felt really, really good with it. He made a couple of plays. Jordan Thompson made a couple of plays. So, that looks like something that, could possibly stick here.
Love to see Ma'Khail Hillard get the win last night for his effort, as he was on point, Coach, throwing BBs. Another option for Alan Dunn and the pitching staff.
Yeah, no doubt about it, man. And that's why we were really excited about Ma'Khail, late in the fall and early in the spring scrimmages, is that velo had ticked up into the 91 mile per hour range. And when he's doing that with that cut fastball that he has and that breaking ball he has, it just enhances everything that he does. And it was really awesome to see him get out there and have that first outing in front of the LSU fans and against a different team that we had seen in the fall and the spring scrimmages.
Nolan Cain joining us here on the Jordy Culotta Show. Coach, this has become a regular midweek and regular season game for you guys versus UNO, and your guys' former teammate in Blake Dean and former player for Coach Maneri. I know once this thing gets going, it's baseball, but this has become a pretty cool event.
Yeah, it has been. And, Coach Maneri played at UNO and finished his college career there, and so he's got an affinity for the program. And, Blake Dean was obviously a crucial player on our 2008 run to Omaha and 2009 national championship, and remains a very good friend. And, they're off to a little bit of a slow start over there. But one thing about Blake's team, they're going to compete. And, by the end of the year, they're going to be very offensive. And I think he's got some new pieces. He's got a couple of young players that he got from within the state that are pretty talented, physical, strong players. And, they're going to be fired up and excited for the Tigers to come to town tonight.
Coach, when you talk about your message, you were a former pitcher in this organization or within this program, and then you went on to pitch with the Detroit Tigers organization for a bit. What's your message to a guy like Jaden Hill after a performance like he experienced on Friday night?
It's just so fluky, right? It may never happen to him again. And it's just a reminder that you've got to be on your game. You got to be on point every time. I think the lack of command and feel that he had for the baseball that day. I mean, he hardly ever hits batters. He hardly walks batters, and we did that. And it just, and then we didn't make a few plays behind him. But when you're out there for 25, 30, 35 pitchers as a defense, and there's no action happening, and all of a sudden a ball's put in play, that's why you want guys to work quick and pound the zone. That's why you stress those things, because it keeps your catcher, it keeps your defense, it keeps everybody in the game, everybody on their toes. And he'll rebound. He threw a really good bullpen yesterday, and I think for him the biggest key is getting that slider back and over the plate and something that's usable. So guys can't just ambush. That's been the scouting report on them. Hey, man, it's going to be 94, 98. Get the bat head out. So everybody's ambushing early in the counts and getting the head out and basically sitting on heater, guessing heater. And if he can dump that slider and get it in the strike zone, because the changeup's always there. It's just a tough pitch to use against right-handed hitters because it kind of goes into the bat plane and it's an easy pitch to pull. But if he can get that slider going and get that going in the first inning, the first batter of the game, that's going to be a huge pitch for him moving forward.
What's an assessment from your point of view, 13 games into this thing after, such a quirky all season and getting to this point and now playing day in, day out? How do you feel about your squad?
Really excited about what we're doing offensively. And I know there's been a couple of days where, we haven't put up the runs that we want to put up. But, right now, if you're just looking, and there's been no SEC games played yet, but just the SEC stats, we're second in run scores. We're number one in homers. So we're doing a lot of really good things. I think we're walking and getting hit by pitches and getting to first base. Our on-base percentage as a team is .394. The homers, the doubles, all that stuff is very, very exciting. And so that's been awesome. I think defensively, now that we made, hopefully this is what we're settling on right here with our infield, that fielding percentage will come up a tick. And I think that our best days are ahead of us, obviously, on the pitching side. Landon Marceau and A.J. Labus have been pretty good this year and getting Ma'Khail going. And it was good to see Fontenot get out there last night and, try to give him not an easy inning, but, throw him into a situation where he can go out there and just work on some stuff. And he got himself into a jam. He got out of it. So it's this thing where, if we pitch and defend, I think we're going to hit enough to be a pretty good team in this league.
LSU baseball on the road tonight versus UNO. You can catch it on the network as always. Coach Nolan Cain checking in as he does pretty routinely here on the Jordy Culotta Show. We always appreciate it, Coach. Safe travels and good luck. We'll talk again soon.
All right, man. Thanks for having me on.
Yes, sir. Always. There was Coach Cain. We had obviously a non-listener calling into the show there, not paying attention. What's going on daily on 7 and 9 a.m. here. For sure, that conversation brought to you by Lanois Insurance. Remember, LANOIX agency.com. Get in touch with Randy, Brian, and David today at 749-5640. Auto insurance, home insurance, business insurance. Help them out at LANOIX agency.com or let them help you out at LANOIX agency.com. First-hand testimony here as they handle the auto, the home, the business insurance. LANOIX agency.com. All right, we're gonna try this video call next.
Let's do it
with Jean Paul Bourgeois, who is the chef here. Do we have somebody outside of the undisclosed location?
I think I see Whitney's head.
Okay.
There she is.
Yo.
So shoot him a text. Let him know. I sent him the links and everything already.
Is that how we're going to do that? All right, let's take a break. Let's come back, and let's see if we can't get this done. All right, Jordy Culotta Show brought to you by Go Chevrolet every single day here. Appreciate Nolan Cain, the Big Daddy, checking in from LSU Baseball as they have a road trip to UNO tonight and giving us a little preview there. Next, we will try a video call with our guy, Chef Jean Paul Bourgeois, who is here every Wednesday. He is the host of Dup Camp Diners. He is also, you can find him at jeanpaulbourgeois.com. But just great entertainment, and will be here with us every Wednesday. He'll stop by next here on the Jordy Culotta
What's your
Show.
confidence level?
I'm kind of at a 7.5, 7-ish, 7-ish.
Yeah.
You know,
I'd like
passing,
6. Yeah.
passing grade.
Yeah. Okay.
We're passing.
That sounds just like me.
We're passing.
Yeah,
We're passing.
I'll do it.
Yeah, right. All right, we'll see what happens next. Hey, you know it's no secret what we got going over here at the Jordy Culotta Show. We're trying to disrupt how media and advertising moves forward. My friend of over 35 years, Barrett Blondo, is doing the same thing for real estate with his new company, Falaya. I met with him in his own personal undisclosed location, and I got to see firsthand what Falaya has been doing and what he's been working on. It blew my mind, man. They are putting all the tools once reserved for professionals right in the hands of the homeowner. It's basically for sale by owner on steroids. For more information, give my guy Barrett Blondo a call today at 225-939-6153 or visit him at Falaya. That's FALAYA.com for more info. Barrett Blondo over at Falaya.com. Changing the game in real estate. So if you got to get in touch with our guy, Bradley Lynch, over at Advanta Clean, it's not going to be a good day for you. But the good news is if you give him a call at 369-5228, he'll take care of everything. Water, fire, mold. If you feel water on the carpet when you wake up, if you smell fire, if you see mold, get in touch with Bradley Lynch over at Advanta Clean, online at advantaclean.com. Call him locally, 369-5228 with a 225 area code. He'll take care of everything. From dealing with the insurance company to coming over, diagnosing the problem, he'll be there within that day. Online at advantaclean.com. Water, fire, mold. advantaclean.com and our good friend Bradley Lynch, 369-5228. Hey, if you're in the market for a custom home, get in touch with our friend Rhett Bourgeois over at RMB Builders. They're online at rmb-builders. And Rhett can do just about anything you need around the house. He can build you a new one. He can repair the one you're in. He can remodel. If you need commercial construction help, he's licensed for commercial as well. He can handle an office renovation, building maintenance. Check out everything. It's online at rmb-builders.com. He's on social media, Instagram and Facebook. You can find him at the handle at RMB Builders LLC. But the website is fantastic. Check him out, rmb-builders.com.
Do you want to sponsor the Jordy Culotta Show? Contact us at katie@jordyculottashow.com. That's katie@jordyculottashow.com.
Welcome back to the Jordy Culotta Show, presented by Go Chevrolet every day here on YouTube. You can find us at the Jordy Culotta Show 2.0. We appreciate the interaction, the subscriptions. Remember to notify what's happening here just by clicking that bell. You'll know when we go live. Every Wednesday when we go live, we're going to link up with Louisiana's own Chef Jean Paul Bourgeois, who is traveling the country right now to see where he and his beautiful wife will reside and live their life. What a cool story. what a cool time in life that they are experiencing right now, and we are appreciative of their time every Wednesday here on the Jordy Culotta Show, which we are experimenting here today on a Wednesday with a little new method on this video call. And we said we're going to cut our teeth with our chef, and we are going to, I believe Clearwater, Florida is where we link up with the chef this morning.
That's right.
Oh,
That's right. Audio check 1 2.
no.
Hear me?
It sounds terrible.
It does. It looks fantastic.
It does look great.
It looks great. If we could just,
Sound good.
it's just kind of, it's very robotic. You're very robotic. We're going to,
1 second.
okay. All right.
He's a tech guy too,
Yes.
He's in this realm with us.
Just be patient with us over there, people. We got our viewers, and Chef Jean Paul Bourgeois is going to tighten this thing up for us. It gives us a chance to talk a little bit about Advanaclean here on the Jordy Culotta Show. Remember, Advanaclean, you can find them at advanaclean.com. Get in touch with them. We cannot hear what's going on here with Chef. So what we're going to do is we're going to hang up and we're going to call him on the phone. And we're going to workshop this thing, and we're going to get it taken care of. And the next time we talk to this chef, we are going to have him on video. It was good effort.
Can we keep the video pulled up
We can.
while we're talking to
Can we
him?
not hear him?
Give me the phone here, Chef.
27.
Yes.
Go ahead and leave me a message,
Oh,
and I'll
okay.
return.
missed it, yeah.
Okay. All right. This is
All right.
getting,
Yeah, it's getting dicey.
This is
I
getting
told you
dicey.
this is what's going to happen.
this
Yeah.
is getting dicey. All right. One more call here to the chef. Okay. Now we're ringing.
All right.
All right, buddy.
I'm on now.
No, we're good. We're good. We're
What
good.
the hell?
We might have to kill the segment.
No, hold on. Oh, goodness. Now go for
Is
it.
that better?
There we
Yeah.
go.
Chef.
All right. But can y'all see me?
No,
question.
we can't, and we're going to next time. And we appreciate you taking that ride with us for the experiment. It was we should workshop that on our end, just a couple of more steps.
The third try.
And next Wednesday, when we get to you, that was a beautiful backdrop. Wherever you are in the world right now, looks very, very appealing. Where are you right now?
Well, thank you. Yeah, we gave it a good shot there. We're going to try
Yes.
it again. But
Yes.
Clearwater, Florida is where I'm at until April 2nd. And, man, I got to tell you, it is like 65 in the morning, 75 during the day. We kind of hit this little cool front, and it looks like it's going to be warming up later in the week. But it's pretty incredible. It feels a little bit like a dream compared to 12 years in New York City. I tell you that much.
I bet we did catch a little bit of a visual, and it looked fantastic. Is there any cuisine in that part of the world that you're looking forward to experiencing?
I am actually. So we are going to the West Tampa Sandwich Shop, which is this old school Cuban joint there in West Tampa today. And from my understanding, I did not know this, but Tampa is known to be really the birthplace of the Cuban sandwich, not Miami, which a lot of people think. It's really Tampa, Florida, and they're full of really these great little Cuban sandwich shops. And apparently, this West Tampa sandwich shop our sandwich cafe is one of the most well-known, or at least like old school Cuban joints here in the area. So we're really pumped about that. Also, fried grouper sandwiches, and which I didn't really expect. And I've got to tell you, I had one the other day that it definitely battles a po' boy in terms of fried fish sandwiches. And then obviously you have stone crab claws and all the other great things that come out of the ocean here.
Fried tile fish sandwiches?
Yeah.
Have you ever
we
heard-
gotta get that. Yeah.
Have you
I
ever
like it.
Have you heard of
I like it.
tilefish? Have you heard of tilefish, Chef?
I have indeed. Yeah, it's you're starting to see it a lot more on menus on the like in the Charleston area in the Low Country. But I've worked with it a number of times, cooked it a number of times. I don't think I've ever caught one, but I know they're kind of becoming more more popularized throughout in the chef's world for sure.
I went on a fishing trip with my boys overnight, and I was the only one that was puking all day. And after a successful day on the water, they threw me a couple of tilefish at the end and said, "Look, we just gave you the king of the ocean. Now get the hell out of here." I went home and cooked it for my girlfriend. She Googled it and said, "Look, Jordy, I don't know if this is true, but the feedback says it has the highest mercury per fish that's in the ocean. So I don't know. I don't know, man. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know about that either.
Good.
Man. I don't know.
Good.
It's like you're from South, like y'all are from South Louisiana. I mean, we're eating seafood all the time. I'm sure there's trace elements of mercury in everything we're eating.
That's right.
You know, and like everything that we're eating at all the seafood that we eat. I don't know. I've never really worried too much about that.
See there, Kelly? I told you. Back to the Rolls Royce of the Gulf of Mexico. That's what we were eating that day.
Chef, I mean, you talk to a lot of chefs around the country. Tilefish is an exceptional fish that's served on many menus around the South, especially.
There you go. There you go. And look, down here in Louisiana, we become kind of seafood snobs, right? Like where you go and you don't want to eat seafood from other. But when you're on a coastline like you are, or you're along the coast like we travel, the freshness is the key, right?
That's right. Yeah. Look, one of the crazy things that I've traveled all over the world and all over the South, and I love coastal areas, not just around the South, but all over the world. We really tend to, when we travel internationally and domestically, to spend time around the coast. And there is no place like Louisiana. And I can just tell, of course, all your listeners in Louisiana know this well. All the listeners outside of Louisiana, maybe not so familiar with all the great shrimp and seafood that you can find on side of the road from people's, in coolers that are fresh off the boat in the back bed of a truck. And you may think that like, oh, that's maybe weird or maybe not, I don't know, safe, but it is where we always bought growing up. The freshest seafood was out of the back of a bed of a truck. And the fact that you can still do that in South Louisiana just shows like the rich seafood culture that exists down there, because as great as this culture here is in Tampa and seafood heavy and fish heavy and fresh heavy as it is, you can't find that. You have to go to a fish market or some type of commercial fishing or wholesale site to get that type of freshness. And in Louisiana, you can be driving down the road on Highway 90 and break off to the side and get something from an old beat up 84 Toyota in back of a truck, which I find exceptional and I love, and I just think that just speaks to just the culture of Louisiana. I love that.
Make sure that you are subscribed to the Mossy Oak YouTube channel so you can catch up with the Duck Camp Diners. I watched the last one. We've all got a friend that still eats Vienna sausages, and you can still make something out of. It looks like your boy inhales them from sun up to sundown. So tell me this: you blew people's mind down there with the crawfish scrambled eggs. How much do you do that when you cook for people? Do you bring in a native Louisiana dish like that seems very simple, right? I mean, just like a crawfish scrambled egg dish that, I mean, everybody at the camp is just raving about. That's got to be one of the cool tricks of the trade in traveling your cuisine, is seeing people's reaction to just the taste of the South, the taste of Louisiana.
Yeah, 100%. And I think you see that in little bits throughout Cajun cooking. Some of y'all may have grown up. I know I've eaten a lot of like old granny style Cajun shrimp stews that had boiled eggs in it. Some people even put boiled eggs in their gumbo or different stew dishes. And you don't really realize it at the time, but actually seafood and eggs go great together. The Spanish been doing it for centuries. And that's actually one thing that the Spanish brought over to Louisiana when they settled. And it's lost a little bit of its popularity, or it may not be as recognizable as two ingredients that are put together in Cajun culture, but it really exists all around the world, this seafood and egg combination. And that recipe that happened at the duck camp, I definitely put crab. I love, like, one of my favorite breakfasts is like a crab meat omelet, right? So crab meat and like cheese and fold it into an omelet. I think it's just a beautiful creation. The French do that a lot. But this was a recipe that I was not planning to put on duck camp dinners. It was never in my list of recipes that I wanted to cook. But just like I said on the show, it was what I had left on that Sunday. And I was like, oh, perfect. 2 pounds of crawfish, 18 eggs, a couple slices of American cheese, and a red bell pepper. Money. And it really, and I would suggest that you get these fresh crawfish, even, and especially if you're boiling crawfish, which is now the season, and you have, 10, 15 pounds of boiled crawfish left over, pinch all those tails while they're cold, get all that meat out of them, and do a breakfast, an omelet, a casserole, an egg casserole type of thing with them. I promise you, you will not be disappointed, and that'll be your go-to kind of clean up your boiled crawfish day after kind of meal. That could be for shrimp or crabs too. It really is a great breakfast, and one that I even forget about sometimes. And I was happy it was at camp dinners to have those two. But like I said, cultures all around the world have been putting those two ingredients together for centuries, and I would suggest having such a strong seafood culture in Louisiana that we should do the same.
Chef, we have a couple of listener questions. One is about keeping knives sharp. What's the best way to keep them in the best condition?
Well, always, if you can, use a wooden cutting board if you can, because the softness of the wood allows that knife to kind of go in, make those little small indentions, as opposed to maybe like some people will use a marble kind of. It may be pretty, but that marble cutting board, or even like glass. Don't use glass ones that you maybe see in some older kitchens, or hard plastic. Plastic is better than both of those, but I like a wooden cutting board. That'll give your knives a lot more longevity. Also, do a little research on the type of steel that your knife is. If it's a Japanese steel, it's typically sharpened at a 70-30 angle, which means one side is angled differently than the other side, as opposed to a Western steel, like things like a Henkel or a Wusthof or American-made steel is usually a 50-50. And so when you're putting that on your sharpening rod or your stone that you're sharpening on, that's how you have to. If it's a Japanese steel, you have to go 70% of the time on one side and 30% on the other. Where American steel, you go 50-50. And to that point, always just get I like ceramic sharpening rods, not steel ones. You can get them off of Amazon for like $20 to $40. They will break if you drop them, unlike steel, but they really keep a nice edge, sharper between those stone. Between the times you have to really sharpen that on a stone or send it to someone.
Wow, you just made me realize my knife game is not strong. Here's another question. What's the best seafood to use to make stock for gumbo and soups?
What's the best to use for gumbo?
To use to make seafood stock.
Oh, man. This is such a great question, and one that I thrive on because I love seafood gumbos. So I like to, if I can find female crabs, or just shrimp heads, or if you're putting shrimp in your gumbo, buy the whole shrimp, save the heads, save all the shells, obviously. If you can get 6 to a dozen female crabs, use those two. So the female crabs and shrimp heads and shrimp peelings is what I like to make my stock seafood gumbo from. And what I like to do is actually roast the heads and the shrimp shells and the crab bodies in the oven for, with a little oil on them, and just get them a little brown before I make my seafood stock. And then you have kind of a roasted crab and shrimp seafood stock. And the females they have, especially when they're in the reproductive stages, have the eggs inside, and then give just more unctuousness and body and really delicious crab flavoring to a seafood stock. I just posted about this on Instagram when I did this marinade yesterday for dinner, and I used fermented crab paste in a marinade. And just a little chef's trick, you don't need a lot of it, but it does a little fermented crab paste into your stock or into your gumbo when you do your Trinity. Although not a typical ingredient for gumbos, especially for seafood, adds an incredible amount of umami and complexity to your stock. And I would totally recommend go on Amazon, look up fermented crab paste. Just a little tablespoon does, a gallon or 2 gallons of gumbo, like really, really a little bit of magic that's going to make it different than every other gumbo you've had.
Look online. Good Lord. Is everybody starving?
Yes.
Look online. JeanPaulBourgeois.com is where you can find and keep up with our guy. He's here every Wednesday. He's the host of Duck Camp Dinners that you can find on the Mossy Oak YouTube station. That is just fantastic entertainment. In fact, I was just scrolling through some of the comments last night and watching it, and they had somebody from Minnesota who was checking in and just saying, look, we don't have a lot of duck camps up here, but we got deer camps, and you boys throw down and have good food, good friends, good stories, and good laughs. Love to see. That's just how you guys roll down there in the South. So it is interaction from all over the country, all over the world, and Chef Jean Paul is here every Wednesday with us here on the Jordy Culotta Show. We appreciate that time, and next time we will be better on the video conferencing. We promise. Thank you for playing along, Chef.
Thank you, guys. Have a great week.
Thank
See y'all
you.
soon.
Yes, sir. There he is, Chef Jean Paul Bourgeois, for checking in down in Clearwater this morning. Whit, hop on as Whitney Bro is in studio here for Women Crush Wednesday, as she is every week, riding a super wave of momentum after week one as the show launched on International Women's Day. You guys are killing it right now. Love to see Skona. Love to see Terrio at Hudco Roofing for supporting what you got going on. Man, you and I have talked a lot about this, but proud of you. And congratulations on show one and week one rolling on. It is it's better than I expected. And I knew it was going to be. I knew you were going to be a rock star.
Look, man, there was a euphoria in this room after we finished up on Monday. It's been a long time coming. A lot of hard work has gone into it. Again, a big thanks to the Jordy Culotta Show team for helping us to make it happen. And the response has been great. I mean, we've been hearing from folks. Folks are wanting to sponsor the show.
Yeah.
So if you want to get in on the action and support us, I mean, reach out to Katie at jordyculotta.show.com. We want to partner with brands that are all about celebrating women that are breaking glass ceilings. So let us know.
What's been the coolest experience? What's been some of the cool feedback? Because I know that there have been people reaching out to me looking for your contact information on how to get in touch with you and just tell you congratulations or thank you. What's been some of the cool stories?
Probably the coolest stories have been just around Carly, honestly, and you know, the things that she shared, outworking the competition. The Johnny Manziel tip to the Cleveland Browns, and then they didn't listen to her. You know, Miss Karen was amazing. I mean, she just brought that energy and that enthusiasm. And for us at the Gridiron Show, it was all about being authentic, and it was all about being real with our first show. And now we're here for Women Crush Wednesday today, and we're going to tell you a little bit more about what's coming up on episode 2.
So what is going to be the format of Women Crush Wednesday? You're going to be here every week, and we will be promoting what you have going on the Gridiron Show, but we also want to take this segment and bring to light something that's happening within sports, within industry, that is a successful story.
Absolutely. And I mean, today's story from a Women Crush Wednesday perspective is Corey Mackey. And if you haven't seen the story, another one locally here in Baton Rouge, but Corey is the HR director of employment for Mary Bird Perkins Cancer Center. And as we all know, cancer is a big part of my story. And I've actually been a patient at Mary Bird Perkins, Our Lady of the Lake Cancer Center and Women's Hospital Pavilion. Catch this out. Last week, Corey Mackey ran 50 miles in the city of Baton Rouge to mark the 50th anniversary of Mary Bird Perkins. I'm trying to get the route. Not that I'm at all interested in running it personally, but she loves to run. But Jordy, she raised $55,000.
Wow.
Shout out
to you, Corey. Nice.
And Lloyd
nice,
with the
nice.
graphic as she crossed the finish line at Mary Bird Perkins in their office right there off of Essen Lane. So congratulations, Corey Mackey, our Women Crush Wednesday #2 on this fantastic achievement. And Jordy, there's a tie-in with us and the team here at the Jordy Culotta Show. So Katie and I are actually a part of the annual fundraiser this year for Mary Bird Perkins, which is going to take place on March 25th at La Berge, and there's going to be some virtual watch parties. So I think we're popping in our YouTube chat link. One of the ways that you can support, and Katie, you've got a watch party that you're going to plan, right?
I think I'm hosting one. Our friend Kim Gilly is the committee chair, and just let me know that I'll probably be hosting a watch party on March 25th.
Nice.
So if you're interested in supporting cancer patients in our local community, I mean, Gridiron Show, the Jordy Culotta Show, we're all about philanthropic efforts. We want to support people that need support here in our community, and a great way to do that today is with Mary Bird Perkins. So feel free to check out that link that's dropping in the chat. We're also posting a whole bunch of that on social media as well today.
Yes, absolutely. And tell us what you have going on here. I know that you don't like to talk about this a lot when, you know, talking about yourself with all the other stuff that you have going on. But you were running for help me out on this, on the prom queen. I donated earlier this week. Moscona donated yesterday. Katie's
sweet,
donated.
too.
There is a opportunity for everybody to support, and we want to win, right?
Heck yeah.
okay.
You know I don't like to lose. So I've got a goal of raising at least $10,000. I think I've cleared the $8,000 mark. So this year, the Mary Bird Perkins fundraiser, it's all about prom court. And there's 5 women and 5 men that are on the prom court, and I'm one of those representatives. So it's a competition to see who can raise the most money for Mary Bird Perkins Cancer Center. So if you want to support me, I'd be very grateful for the support and for the love. You can check that out. The link is in the bio at Day 18 campaign, and I think we're also posting that in the YouTube chat as well. So March 25th is the deadline to donate. So would really appreciate the support of anybody out there that wants to give back.
What is coming up on the Gridiron Show?
Exciting Gridiron Show coming. We're going to always premiere our episode on our podcast and on our YouTube channel every Monday. So every Monday you'll be able to check it out. But March Madness is going to kick off on Sunday. So we've got Megan making money coming on. She's going to give you some tips as it relates to how to get in on the March Madness action. Also for the March Madness Jordy Culotta Show bracket challenge that's coming up.
Yes.
But also if you're ready to start putting some money down on your bets for responsibly, of course.
Of course.
Megan came on and she's going to give you a couple tips and tricks. So be sure to check out Monday's episode of the Gridiron Show premiering on our podcast as well as on our YouTube channel. So stay tuned to @Gridiron Show on all social media to get the latest info.
And we will be talking to Megan right here tomorrow on the Jordy Culotta Show, as she is with us every Thursday, and we will obviously be promoting what's coming up with Whitney. Incredible work on social media, Whit. You and your team. Talk a little bit about Abby and what you guys have going on behind the scenes as far as the force that you're putting out there on the streets. We've got a couple of new interns on the squad that's going to be helping everybody out here.
Intern game is strong.
Yes, it is.
Intern game
It is. It is. Tell us how to find the Gridiron Show, how to keep up with the Gridiron Show, and everything you got going on social media.
Yeah, I mean, Abby is an incredible addition to the Gridiron Show team. I mean, I just feel so blessed. And again, it's like an angel that's guiding this entire experience that I've run across Abby. She's a winner of the Carly McCord Scholarship as well. But you can find us in everything that we're doing on social media at Gridiron Show. That's going to be on Twitter. We're on Instagram. I mean, we're giving you daily content, the latest that's happening in the game of football, celebrating women that are doing incredible things. So keep up with us. You can subscribe to our YouTube channel, Gridiron Show with Whitney Bro, and we're also on Facebook. Let me tell you, I mean, our numbers are getting up there, especially on Facebook. We're about to clear the 600 fan mark. So again, I mean, if you want to support what we're doing with the Gridiron Show, we're celebrating incredible women. We want to partner with the great brands and businesses out there. You can reach out to the Gridiron Show on any of our social media, and then Katie at jordyculotta.com. So let us know.
All right, intern. Grab these 3 basketballs right here. Welcome to the squad, Noah Tingle, who has told us we've just asked for a little bit of a resume, and all he told us is that he was a 3-year player. He played basketball. That's all we can get out of him.
Find out.
His former head coach, Brian Hargroder, lives and stays pretty close to the undisclosed location. So he is around the area and is here for to see what your success rate is going to be, bouncing those basketballs off of Sam Willard's fat head on that basketball goal back there next to the Harper's Haberdashery logo. As if you could do us a solid, find Sam and the crew at Harper's BR on Instagram. We're going to talk to Randy Mueller here. We're not just checking out. We're going to see what happens here. We're going to take a break.
I just wanted to pump him up a little
All
bit.
right.
Give him a little music.
How are we feeling over there? When's the last time you played pickup? When's the last time you shot a basketball?
About 2 nights ago.
2 nights ago. 48 hours.
Little piece of advice.
All right.
Piece of advice. So all those balls weigh a different amount, so it's not consistent. You got to feel it out.
And all of those balls are worth $250 in gift cards at Harper's Haberdashery. So you got, what is that, $750 sitting in your hand there? Young lad. All right, let's go. Let's see what happens here. Shot 1. Lefty.
Oh.
Okay.
Oh.
All right. Okay.
That
All right.
didn't sound
All right.
good,
All right.
Oh.
Okay.
That was so close.
Okay.
Oh.
All right. We got some potential.
Yeah.
Got some potential. Welcome to the squad, Noah.
That was better than
Noah
any of
Tingle.
us.
All right, Sammy, you're safe. No gift cards for the listeners. In fact, you know what? I'm handing out a gift card. William Ivy, old Billy Ivy, always in a good mood. Billy Ivy, go over to Sam Harper's place over at Sam Willard's place at Harper's Haberdashery over there on Highland Road in the Highland Shopping Center. Tell him that you qualified and won. $250 gift card due to one of Noah's bricks that he threw up on day one that he was in studio here. As we'll get you set up. So Billy Ivy is our winner here for Harper's Haberdashery's shoot away for $250. Get over there and see him over at Harper's. All right, good stuff from Noah. When we come back, we're going to talk to Randy Mueller. Mueller is the former general manager for the Seattle Seahawks and the New Orleans Saints. Remember Aaron Brooks, the quarterback, pre-Drew Brees? Mueller was the guy that brought Brooks in. He's the one that paid him. He's the one that brought Hazlitt in. He was a guy that was very well respected still in the NFL, runs a consulting firm where he helps out a lot of NFL teams during this part of the process. We'll talk to him about draft time. We'll talk to him about some of the debates coming up, but we'll also get some stories about New Orleans Saints in the early 2000s, late 90s, what it was like, what type of ship it was before Sean Payton and Mickey Loomis and Drew Brees took over the wheel in 2006. Randy Mueller coming up next here on the Jordy Culotta Show. Hey, you know it's no secret what we got going over here at the Jordy Culotta Show. We're trying to disrupt how media and advertising moves forward. My friend of over 35 years, Barrett Blondo, is doing the same thing for real estate with his new company, Falaya. I met with him in his own personal undisclosed location, and I got to see firsthand what Falaya has been doing and what he's been working on. It blew my mind, man. They are putting all the tools once reserved for professionals right in the hands of the homeowner. It's basically for sale by owner on steroids. For more information, give my guy Barrett Blondo a call today at 225-939-6153 or visit him at Falaya. That's FALAYA.com for more info. Barrett Blondo over at Falaya.com. Changing the game in real estate. Every time we talk to LSU head basketball coach Will Wade here on the Jordy Culotta Show, it's brought to you by Phil's Oyster Bar. Some exciting new things coming up at Phil's here during the Lenten season, including featuring new seafood specials every Friday, in addition to the seafood-filled menu over there. And they're offering up brunch right now on Saturday and Sundays, which will have bottomless mimosas. Don't forget Monday night 50-cent oysters and $2 draft beers, all over at Phil's Oyster Bar. Check them out. They're online at philsoysterbar.com, but they're located in the South Downs Shopping Center, a staple here in Baton Rouge for a long time. Go tell Anthony Piazza and the crew hello. Phil's Oyster Bar. Hey, if you're in the market for a custom home, get in touch with our friend Rhett Bourgeois over at RMB Builders. They're online at RMB-Builders, and Rhett can do just about anything you need around the house. He can build you a new one. He can repair the one you're in. He can remodel. If you need commercial construction help, he's licensed for commercial as well. He can handle an office renovation, building maintenance. Check out everything. It's online at rmb-builders.com. He's on social media, Instagram and Facebook. You can find him at the handle at RMB Builders LLC. But the website is fantastic. Check him out, rmb-builders.com. Welcome back to the Jordy Culotta Show, daily driven by Go Chevrolet. Remember, online at GEAUXChevrolet.com. Stop in and see Lee Carney, Nick Richard down in Laplace, Louisiana, getting you into a new model today. And as Lee told us here earlier, they can make the buying process very simple. They can come to you online at GoChevrolet.com. Been looking forward to our next conversation, as Randy Mueller is a very decorated member of the NFL. His resume, very impressive. Right now, you can read and keep up with what he's got going on at MuellerFootball.com, where he consults and is very much in the ear of a lot of general managers, decision makers around this time of the NFL season. But when you look at his resume, Seattle Seahawks Vice President of Football Ops, New Orleans Saints, general manager in 2001, Miami Dolphins GM, has worked for the Chargers, just worked all over football. Long and great resume and a great resource for us during this time. And he joins us now here on the Jordy Culotta Show. Randy, good morning. Thank you for your time.
Hey, Jordy, good to be with you. Anytime. I appreciate you having me on.
Yes, sir. This part of the process in the NFL calendar, a lot of fans may not think as much emphasis, because they cannot see what's happening on the field. For you guys behind the scenes that go into making these decisions, whether it's through free agency or whether it's through the draft, talk about the preparation and what goes into that.
Yeah, it's far from the exact science, but it's the part of the business I miss the most. It is a great process. It's all encompassing because you're dealing with free agency. You're also preparing for the draft, and you have so many deals running through your head that the multitasking GMs and the confident ones are the ones that get their teams ahead. That's for sure. It's a great time, and I think this year in particular is a little unique in that there are going to be so many good players in the pool of available, probably more so than any time in the history of the league. So if you have a team that needs to retool, if you have a team that needs to rebuild, this is the year to do it, regardless of the cap. We all know the cap's going down, but I think there's going to be bargains out there. I think there's going to be a buyer's market throughout the league, and I think it is a great time to be in charge of a franchise. And I think you can move the meter toward building a real team this year, probably more than at any time in the past.
Randy, some mock drafts have the first four selections choosing quarterbacks. We know that it is a quarterback league, and every franchise is looking for their guy, their franchise quarterback. What goes into evaluating that position, and how much pressure is on a first-round selection that is centered around a quarterback from your seat, from your former seat?
Well, there's a ton of information that goes into it, that's for sure. I think people probably underestimate a little bit how an NFL team's draft board would look because they only see it really from the media side. And there's a ton of draft gurus now that have their own mock drafts and their own boards and all that. NFL teams build by consensus. They build by listening to coaches, scouts, GMs. Everybody has a little say, and then you put your board together. I kind of chuckle sometimes when I see, well, there's 6 quarterbacks now. If you need one, you just got to get up there and get one. I don't think any NFL team, well, I shouldn't say any, most NFL teams don't see it that way. You may see on the outside 6 first-round valued quarterbacks, but that decision maker on the inside of an NFL team has to like them as well. And where they say that's why Baskin-Robbins has 31 flavors. There's only a couple flavors that I like when I walk into the ice cream shop. So the fact that people say there's 6, I might only like 2. So I don't know about the top 4 all being quarterbacks. In this particular case, I don't think we have enough of that information, but I haven't seen 4 that I would be comfortable taking up there because a decision like that to take a quarterback in the top 5, you have that guy. You are, I won't say stuck with them because they supposedly are good players, but that is a giant decision for a franchise. So you're right. You've got to take all in account. And then when you get them, you've got to project them as a perfect fit in your offensive scheme, per se, if we're just talking about quarterbacks, but any top 10 pick, it's all about fit. And so much of that player's future is determined on once you get them, using them to set up their strengths and having a coaching staff and a scheme that can visualize this guy's strengths and accentuate those once you get them. It's a shame some of these players get a rap for having to be in a bust or not doing well. So much of their future is dependent on the coaching scheme, the people you put around them on your roster. There's a lot of things that are out of control of the players' hands, that's for sure.
Randy Mueller joining us here on the Jordy Culotta Show, daily powered by Go Chevrolet. There's a great debate that especially centers around South Louisiana talent with the 2 best wide receivers in this draft. Devonta Smith is from Amite, Louisiana, and Jamar Chase is from New Orleans, Louisiana. Jamar obviously won the Biletnikoff at LSU 2 seasons ago. Devontae won the Heisman Trophy in Tuscaloosa last year. They both won national championships and both come out highly decorated. How do you see these 2 prospects on draft day?
Well, I see them both as really good players and a little different flavor, a little different style, but they're both NFL receivers. And I hesitate to say, oh, this is a number one NFL receiver, because so much of it is determined on what I just said. It's got to be in the right system. They've got to be used in a way that their strengths are accentuated, and they've got to have good players around them, which includes a quarterback. And so a lot of times these top picks go somewhere where they don't have a quarterback or an offense that's bad. That's why these guys teams are picking at the top. I like them both. I equate the LSU kid to a little bit like a Steve Smith. He's a little more compact, but he's powerful. He can make all the catches. I think Devontae is a little smoother per se. Devontae, for my money, catches the ball as good as anybody I've seen the last 8 or 10 years in the league. He really is a fundamental catcher of the football, and I think sometimes that goes unnoticed. But what's the number one task you should, tie to a receiver? He's got to be able to catch. And I think Devontae catches the ball as cleanly and as fundamentally sound as any I've seen. So I don't think you're going to go wrong with either one of these two guys. I think then it's up to the coaches and the scheme to find a way to make them into the players that they're going to have to be. These players have never faced coverage. They've never faced skill sets of defensive backs like they're going to face. So there's going to be a learning curve. It's always hard on receivers because the defenses they see are going to be a little different. But the good thing these two guys have coming, their way is that they've really practiced and played against NFL-type coverages and players every day at those programs.
Check out MuellerFootball.com. It's a great resource, especially if you're into football and some of the cool discussions that happen behind the scenes and some of the things that go on. In fact, Randy spent some time as an executive for the Seattle Seahawks. He also spent some of the same years and roles with the New Orleans Saints. Randy, take me into a boardroom, into your office when you've got a quarterback like Russell Wilson. And in fact, you're up in Seattle, so you kind of understand the climate and the geography and the community on the impact that Wilson has on not only the football team, but when he's making some of the comments like he is publicly, and they can be perceived that maybe he wants out as an executive sitting in Seattle's role. How do you handle a situation like that where the face of your franchise is obviously unhappy, and how do those conversations work?
Yeah, it's a tough spot, that's for sure. Sometimes we as GMs or head coaches take for granted the line of communication with our good players. And I always would go out of my way to keep that line of communication open. I really want to hear from Russell Wilson. I want to hear from Deshaun Watson. I want to know where they stand all the time. So something like this doesn't blindside me, right? I actually think that the administration with the Seahawks was blindsided by some of these comments. And if they indeed had their thumb and the pulse on their quarterback, and if they did, then his comments are agenda-driven for another fact, because I see and get a little confused when the quarterback says, I don't want to be traded, I want to be here, but here's 4 teams that I'd go to. Well, that doesn't make a lot of sense either. But I think it's all communication, Jordy. I think you've got to, I always tried to have a presence, maybe not in the locker room, but definitely on the practice field, definitely a dialogue with these guys. And sometimes when that dialogue breaks down, things get said. I think in Russell Wilson's case, there's a lot of frustration, mainly because, I'll be honest with you, Seattle has swung and missed some. They haven't done the best job at times. Everybody should be held accountable. Nobody wants to hear it, but I kind of agree with some of the things Russell said. So, and he was frustrated. He had just seen Tom Brady win a Super Bowl and have some input in the way the Tampa Bay team was built. So, I think it was a combination of a lot of things. Do I think Russell's going to get traded? No. I think they'll end up patching it up. I think it kind of falls in the lap of GM John Snyder to bring everybody together and have a little kumbaya session. I don't think it has to happen right now, but I think it will at some point. So, maybe this is a wake-up call for everybody. We all just need to do a little better. I agree, Russell is getting hit too much. We got to find a way to strengthen our offensive line, and maybe this was the shot over the bow that kind of gets the refocus on everybody. So time will tell.
A great follow on Twitter, @RandyMueller_. I know your time is very valuable. I'll get you out of here on this one. The Saints with Drew Brees and Sean Payton have changed the generational view of fans. My son has no idea what the culture was like in New Orleans pre-2006 before Brees and Payton were there. You were there. In fact, you were the decision maker behind the trade of Ricky Williams, which at the time was a very controversial move, a move that was very much debated. Can you give our listeners insight to what the culture was like with the Saints during that time, and if you felt like that they were close to getting to the mountaintop like they have experienced the last 15 years under Peyton, and kind of went into that decision of dealing Ricky Williams at that moment, because it seemed like he was finally starting to be comfortable in New Orleans and in the area. And then once he went to Miami, his career kind of catapulted. I mean, he became an MVP of the league.
No question about it. When I got there in 2000, it was after the Aints years, right?
Yeah,
the
right.
paper bag years. So
That's right.
I came from Seattle after 20 years, and we were fortunate in that we turned it around. I mean, we won the first playoff game in Saints history. We won the division in our first year there. So we kind of got it going in a positive way. As far as Ricky goes, I think it was really the off-field stuff that, kind of set me off on the course of drafting Deuce McAllister and moving in a little different direction. There was just a trust factor there that Ricky was still immature. He wasn't where he should have been at that point. And once we got Deuce, we just knew we had a surplus there, and we were able to turn Ricky into a couple number one picks for us, and actually drafted some really good players because of it. So it was beneficial for us. It helped turn around the culture in New Orleans without a doubt. It was a little bit of a circus, and that wasn't Ricky's fault. You saw the Ditka Sports Illustrated articles, the wedding dress, all that. We kind of put that all behind us by moving him on to Miami. And Lord be known, I was in Miami about 3 years later, and Ricky and I talked about it. So
right.
I have a long history with Ricky, and I have a lot of respect for him. And he obviously was a really good player. Just wasn't the right time and place for us to rebuild the Saints going forward. And that was really the start of the rebuild and where they're at today.
Randy, keep our listeners up with what's going on with you on MuellerFootball.com. You can see the array of skill set that you have within the football community and industry, whether it be from scouting to film evaluation to even helping teams or programs with coaching searches. What has life been like for you with football, but not tied to a team?
Well, it's been kind of cool, actually. This fall was really the first year I hadn't been tied to a team. I spent 10 years with the Chargers as their national scout most recently, and they're really, Mueller Football is just a way for me to share my 35 years of being in the NFL. I write a blog, and there's weekly posts. Actually, there's 2 or 3 posts a week in most cases, where I just give it an angle to the fans from the GM's chair. So my sight and my vision comes from really that one spot, and that's all I know. So I just share some of that with our team. I've also hosted a podcast on the forum of the Athletic with their national writer, Mike Sando, and we've done that since last summer. It's a weekly podcast called The Football GM, and I really enjoyed that. And for those reasons, the blog and the podcast, it's kept me watching film. It's kept me involved in every step along the way with these NFL teams. And obviously I have a few contacts and ties, and it's just another way to share this stuff with the fans.
It's a great site at MuellerFootball.com. It is very easy to navigate, and it's also filled with very cool information and testimonials and things that you can learn about in there. The blog that Randy's talking about, Ask the GM, is easily accessible right there at MuellerFootball.com. I feel like I could talk to you all morning, man. You got great knowledge and great insight. We appreciate your time very much. Hopefully we can do this again soon.
Anytime. I enjoyed it. Thanks a lot.
You got it. There he is. Randy Mueller checking in from Seattle this morning, telling us a little bit about what's going on through this draft process, through the draft process from that position in which he has sat and made the decisions of trades and drafts and everything that goes into this time of the calendar for the NFL schedule. Good stuff this morning. Very much appreciate everybody for being out there and for interacting with us here on whether it be the YouTube station. We urge you, if you are not subscribed, to please subscribe. Make sure that you share and comment and see if we can't get this thing moving throughout the day and create a buzz about what's going on here at the Jordy Culotta Show. Remember, the Gridiron Show coming up on Mondays. Make sure and follow and keep up with what they have going on social media. Whit and her crew are absolutely dominating social media right now, so make sure you follow their YouTube channel. Keep up with them on Instagram, Twitter, and keep up with what's going on with the Gridiron Show. Appreciate Go Chevrolet for always driving us home. Remember, over at Manscaped, we've been telling you about Manscaped. The promo code is JC Show. JC Show. It's not the JC Show. Some people have been running into some problems there, but you get 20% off, free shipping, I'm telling you, man, the lawnmower, I could go on for days. I mean,
You don't have to.
I mean, it is amazing, especially with the weather changing, the winds blowing.
bike ride guy.
The bike rides are fantastic. Manscaped.com. Use the promo code JCShow. Your mother bleeping welcome in advance. I'm telling you, bro. I mean, like, thank me later. You're
just
welcome
glad
in
you're
advance.
moving it outside and
JC
out of that
Show.
bathroom.
That's right, man. I mean, the undisclosed location saw some pretty shady stuff
We
before we
did.
took it over, and you know what I mean. We had to kind of recalibrate, and
we have.
We have one bathroom.
Now we're
Doesn't need to
good.
be used for manscaping.
Now we're good. Katie, have a great trip to Isla
Hey, I'll
Mujeres.
check in with y'all from Mexico.
Dramamine, for
Don't
God's
worry.
sake.
Throw the patch on.
Don't worry. I'll
Do
bring back
not
some tile
get got. Do not get got. Noah Tingle. Nice jump shot, bro. I like the lefty.
appreciate it.
Welcome to the squad. Good to see Whit and the crew. Gridiron Show. Lizzie, don't screw anything up today, bro.
Yeah, you know, I'm just keep to myself today.
That video, it's too good to be true.
Yeah,
It's
I mean,
too good to be
you
true.
practice the day
It was
before.
too good
You
to
come
be
here
true.
early, get here 4:30 to make sure
Damn
it
it,
works,
Lloyd!
and it just doesn't.
We'll talk to you
It
tomorrow
just
morning,
doesn't.
7 a.m.